post. Going live. Going live. Let's go. I think we're up. I think we're live. I think that's right. I'm not doing no intro screen this time. I'm going straight into it. I'm diving straight in as, what's the guy's name? Philip DeFranco. Let's just jump into it. That's what I'm doing. I'm jumping into it. Once I confirm the broadcast is indeed airing. It is airing, right? I hope so. Can I pop out chat? Can I pop you guys out there? Pop out. Bam. All right, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Let me get, you just caught me. I was right in the middle of, I was in Photoshop right now cooking some stuff. I think we are live now. I think it is working. As Mr. Young Skywalker would say, it's working. Is it working? Okay, good. I think it's working. What's up? Hello. It's that guy again. I know. Oh, that's crazy. Hey, it's that guy as well. I recognize that guy in chat right now. It's him. He's him. It's the guy.
Money.
That's right. We're all him. We're all that guy. And all the guys are here right now. So I'm doing some. You caught me at an opportune time. Thanks, by the way, Berg ___ for subscribing with Prime. Thanks so much for the dosh, my friend. I appreciate that. And thanks for typing it in Twitch chat where I can see it better. And wow, another one. Hold on. So many. I gotta turn up my volume. Thanks so much, Snupbill, once again. Man, thank both of you. You guys are legendary. Able to help keep the channel running so I can keep documenting this crazy voyage of trying to make a video game. Which is it is a crazy voyage. How are you guys though? Before I start rambling for 2 hours and tell you about what I've been up to, how have you been? I'm way too selfish with these streams, I've noticed. All I want to do is talk about me, but I don't know, maybe that's why people come here. I don't know. How is chat doing? Chat, is this real? How are you? Doing good, says Jonathan. See, look, I like this. I like names like this. I can pronounce this name. This is nice. It isn't some username with 10 numbers in it. I appreciate that. Thanks, Jonathan, for just using your name. That's great. You're doing good. I'm doing really good as well, just being able to pronounce people's usernames today. Cybershell says, I like when you talk about you. Oh, well, thank you. Not everyone likes that, though, I found. Some people really don't care, but I guess those people aren't watching. Just working on UI stuff. Oh, that sounds fun. I myself really... Oh, there's so much UI stuff I want to get to, but there's like other priorities I have to do first. But that's like some of the fun stuff I'm hoping to get to. Is it like graphics or is it like coding UI stuff? What flavor of UI stuff are you busying yourself with at the moment? UI is hell, says Gus. I mean, that is kind of true. It can be. There was some UI stuff I was looking at, because there's UI design, which I think I'm getting a good grasp on what I ought to do there. But then there's like the tooling, and that's kind of where I found not to be as fun. I found that I just hate UMG so much. So I've been trying to look for years now for some kind of good UI tool, but all the good ones that every good game was made with, like Autodesk Scaleform, don't exist anymore. So there's that. But there's one I want to ask you guys about that I've kept an eye on for a while, that I haven't been 100, like I'm not sure if I want to bite the bullet and like try something with. But my eye has kept coming back to it. It's this thing called Noesis GUI, and I think they're using Baldur's Gate here because they used it on Baldur's Gate and a bunch of these games. So I guess it's probably, maybe I'm over worrying about it, but it's probably fine to use. But it's, from what I've heard, it's meant to be some kind of it's UI middleware, but it's meant to be like a modern replacement, like a HTML based replacement to Scaleform. That's what I've heard. but I haven't tried it out. I don't know how. I actually haven't even checked the pricing. But I would hope that it's worth the pricing if it's that good. So I don't know. Has anyone here used this? Is this like the stuff, or is it actually better off to just use the default tools, the UMG editor or something? That's what I'm curious to know personally, because having used the UMG tools. Oh, well, thanks Tomok for the 20.
I have been wondering for a while now. But have you got any requests for the use of Gabby in other indie games as a guest character?
Oh, maybe? I think so. I know it's been a while, but I think I might have, but I don't know, there's I think it's like very tempting to just say, like, if most people were like made some kind of character and were asked if they wanted to appear as a guest, I think there's a temptation to just say yes because it's like rewarding, you know. It's like, oh, I get to be included in the club. That's awesome. But I think, yeah, there have been times where I've been asked that and have like had to think about it, and I'm not sure if it's something I would want to do now, if that makes sense. I don't know. There's something about it, unless it's like a specific I don't know, there's a specific thing it has to be for me to want to say yes to it. But like, there have been some projects I've seen that have like kind of hinted at saying, oh, we should do like a collab or something. But I don't know. I don't know if maybe this is what maybe the big companies have a whole team, because there's things like branding and stuff, right? And it's like, you got to pick stuff that's sort of in alignment with your brand. And I don't really know how to explain it though. It's just there's things that it's like people think this would pair well, but I just feel it wouldn't, and I can't explain in words how, but I just know like the spirit of the thing is different. So I don't know. So yeah, that's the long version. But the short answer to that, I think I have been asked, but I don't know. I haven't really been that eager to just, you know, insert Gabby into other things that much, if that makes sense. Lucas says, if boulders get UI is nice, I don't know how much freedom you can have with tools of that UI. Well, yeah, so that's ultimately the thing, because, yeah, with these sorts of tools, it's like if you... There's a temptation to think, oh, well, a big company, a successful game used this tool, so it must mean that the tool is good. And it's like, well, a lot of the time, it might have more to do with the guys using it than the actual tool. So that's the thing I want to be wary of. And that's kind of what this thumbnail I'm doing is about right now. So an estimate I set actually came true this time. I have the next devlog ready, and it is in early access right now. So if you are an early access patron or YouTube member, like I think some of you in chat are, you can watch that episode right now, and it'll be available to the rest of the public, I think tonight or tomorrow night, one of the two. I don't know what it'll be in your time zone though. For me, it's like the morning, so I don't know what's going to be for your time zone. But it's this episode is kind of about that topic of you know, people that seem to like worship their software almost. So I've been doing some thumbnail concepts, because this is kind of the last stage of making a video, and this is usually what I do. This is why there's usually a 24-hour wait for the early access, because I put out the video to watch for early access people, but I haven't made the thumbnail yet or picked the final title. So that's what I spend the last day doing, is picking those. Because if you don't do that, all the work you put into the video is wasted if you don't do a good thumbnail and title. And I don't always enjoy it, but it's just the world, you know, that's just how it is. So you gotta put in some effort. So this is just some stuff I whipped up this morning, and I have to pick one of these and render it high res. Well, not high res, but like higher fidelity without the sketch marks, and, you know, not making it look like a quick doodle, making it look appealing enough, like professional level, so that someone might go and click on it and go, oh, what's the fuss about here? So let me just save my current. I think I'm leaning into the bottom corner one personally. I literally just finished sketching that before I hit live, and I think I'm liking. I might switch out Calder for Felix, because I wanted to do like the meme where it's like the two guys pointing, going, oh my god, it's the like I wanted the thumbnail to feel like that. But when I think about it, Calder would not be the character to do that. Calder would see right through this and go, no, this. But Felix, he's what? He's like 7-8 years old. He would fall for the Unreal worship, absolutely. And Gabby's pretty young as well. She's impressionable. They'd both be going like, oh my god, the tool, if the magic tool, the magic pill. So I think I might want to do another pass on this bottom one and try Felix's face in, because I've kind of butchered Calder's face as well. I have such a tough time drawing Calder because of his design. I still haven't quite nailed down the actually there's a few things I'd like to go into there with drawing faces of animals. It's actually quite difficult. But before that, I'll see if there's any messages I missed on the UI. Lucas says, I wish I knew what tool Atlas had used in their games. They are gold standard stylized. Oh, is that the Persona devs? Yeah, that would be curious to know. I would want to guess Scaleform, that just from looking at their I played a bit of Persona 3 Remastered for research, and that UI is pretty incredible, and it looks like something that people would make in Scaleform, but I think they might have some Japanese thing that they're doing, because I think Scaleform, that's like an American tool. I think, well, no, actually, a lot of Japanese games have used Scaleform. I think Guilty Gear, that they use Scaleform. So I'm just guessing. I don't know if that's what they actually used, but The World May End says Arc System Works has a new channel for their 3D modeling. Really? Interesting. I'll have to check that out. Man, that would be great if they did that before I made Gabby's model. That would be... Because now I had to... Oh, man. I didn't get to watch cool YouTube videos to learn that. I had to do it the hard way. What about a picture of Gabby looking at the horizon with the engine logos? I don't know. Because you have to have a face, I've found. Like, having a face in a thumbnail that's visible is much better. So that's why I kind of didn't... I had these other two ones here of Gabby pushing up the Unreal, like pushing the engine or something, but I kind of... I shared it with my members in the Discord, and they said that it looked like I was... What was it? How did they word it? It was like... It looks like you're regretting using Unreal or something. And that's not quite what the message of the video is. So that would be funny though, wouldn't it? I have a video about why I stay on 4. And then the next thumbnail is me, like, it looks like I'm suffering by choice. So that's not the impression I want to give off, but it is, it was worth trying. Because the thing I do like about this, though, is that it's, because it's based on that classic pose of the guy pushing up the boulder. And it's visually a very striking piece. So, I wanted to try it out because it registers instantly with your eye. You got the clear silhouette and everything, but it sort of goes contrary to the point of the video. But this one, though, I think if I swap this out for Felix, because Felix has bigger eyes as well, so that might actually work better. I think that would leave a better impression and draw people in. And, imagine the background is colored. I'm just using black and white to values and stuff. But imagine like an orange sort of background, and it's, they're being sucked into the allure. That's what's going on here. I realize why I like this one now. They're being sucked into the allure of the magic tool, which doesn't exist. Mr. Crimson says, did someone say Raymond Legend? Yes, that's right. That is indeed my full legal name, Raymond Legend, named after the beloved Ubisoft character. That's me. Lucas says, that's fair, honestly. I think Gabby pushing the UE logo looks nice, like showing challenges. I guess so, yeah. But, see, the thing is, I guess the point I'm trying to make in this devlog that you will see tomorrow is the stuff that you're actually... People think that the stuff you're pushing is the engine, which it isn't. There's actually... Inside this boulder, there is something very valuable, and it is not the software. So I think that's why this probably isn't really the one I'll go with. Because the software is not, it's not worth a lot though, but it isn't worth nothing at the same time. There's a middle ground. So in terms of the UI stuff I was just bringing up, I'm not thinking that there will be some tool that will just magically I'll be able to design good UI because I'm using Noosis or whatever. Like, I don't think that's going to be it, but what I am looking for is something that works the way I want to work. And I don't know, I've just noticed with UMG, it's a bit, there's friction. But I do know that if you don't have skills yourself, it won't matter what you use for UI or whatever the thing is. It won't matter because if you're a poor craftsman, you can't use any tool. So that's kind of that's kind of like the point I'm trying to make with this thumbnail and this video, this devlog. It's a bit of an indirect, it's a bit of a non-technical indirect episode that's going into some invisible stuff. But you'll see. It probably sounds very crazy, but you'll see what I mean. Simply Green says those are cool UI. They're so specific. I don't see them working outside of those Persona games. Well, yeah, the reason is, well, they've designed it very well, and the guy that probably came up with all that probably had some epic cool vision for what that had to be, and maybe that guy would have been skilled enough to do it in Slate or something. Who knows? I'd like to hope that that's what's going on. So I don't know, even if I don't end up finding a good tool I like, because that's the thing is with all the web design stuff I was doing last week, and I've tried to make a bit more progress on that, by the way, but I've been kind of just mostly in the editing bay. But I found even then, if I don't find some cool tool, I still have confidence I can make something visually that looks good. Thanks so much, Timothy, for the 2 Canadian. Appreciate that, man. Timothy Yaja. How do I pronounce that last name? That's an interesting spelling. How is that J pronounced an H? I have met people that have a surname with a J in it that you pronounce like a H. I'm wondering if this is one of those cases. I'm guessing that's how it's pronounced. Lucas says maybe Cryware could have some good tools for UI. I mean, maybe. I haven't used Cryware, so I don't know. Dealing with the raw input is flexible, but there's a lot of pitfalls with UI. Yeah, I'd imagine there is. Wow, yeah, a lot of discussion here. So all right, where do I want to go? Because I have a few things I want to get through, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. I guess, what do I have to do? Because I do want to maybe get some of this thumbnail out of the way on the stream. I guess before I do that, though, I'll try and quickly show you the, I try to make some progress on this website thing. Which I guess has some of the tenets principles of UI design. I gotta open the terminal and type in a certain command, and then it'll let me run the site. No, don't laugh. It's kind of broken it's a bit broken right now. But I've been trying to lean away from I'll get Photoshop as well. I've changed the mock-up a little bit too, but I've been trying to lean a bit away from the what would you call it? The old website thing, because it is hard to read old websites, I found. Where's the mock? I had a Photoshop mock-up. So I think I did this live last week, but I've modified it a bit more to use the grid a bit more sensibly. So the idea is the fundamental building blocks of this site are going to be a stylish sidebar with just basic navigation, that the main purpose of it should be to impress you with its visuals. And then, but it's meant to only be like a third of it, and then the rest of it is all content on the other side, which is meant to be more utilitarian, not very flourished at all, because you don't want it to get in the way of the content. So that's I did a bit of tweaking up with the colors and stuff, picking a few more muted colors, because I don't want people that like dark mode to be too assaulted as much. So at the moment, this is just temporary. I've just used white background for the moment because I'm just trying to test something with the layout. Because one thing I want to do is, and this is just building blocks, and this is where my limits as a programmer come in, because I'm not very good at it yet. But what I'm trying to do is I want to have like these big posts and stuff on the one side, and I'm just using white box black outlines just so that I know where the boxes are. So this is going to be a different color later, but I want this thing on the side, the navigation, I don't want it to stay at the top. I want it to kind of follow you through the page. I kind of like as if the sidebar itself, because I want there to be a graphic here, and I want that to be as if that isn't changing no matter where on the page you are. It's like no matter where you are, this whole part on the side is going to be the same. It's going to have the graphic, it's going to have the nav and everything, and that's kind of what I've been trying to do. But I've tried like the position sticky, top 0, all this stuff, and it just hasn't worked for some reason. And then there are times where it does work, but like I don't know, there was a bunch of weird CSS styling problems, and I'm just kind of working through it. But I didn't spend that much time on this week. I was mostly just on videos. But hopefully when that's kind of like the main challenge, and then once I have that doing what I want, it's just going to be making cool graphics and then putting all this. I have a lot of archived content that I've already written from years, over the span of years, that I just haven't put anywhere. So that's what's going to be on the site itself. But it's just getting the right impression is the tricky thing, because no one's going to want to look at anything that's on there if the design sucks. So, but I don't want to just do a boring like IGN.com design either. So that's kind of been where that's been. It hasn't really progressed all too much, but I'm chipping away at it. But back to I got to get back to this though, because my current priority, by the end of today, I want this thumbnail done, and I'm just gonna close this. This is my current number 1 priority. So what I might do, I might maybe work on this live a bit this week, because there's not really much else to go through besides that. All the work I've been doing otherwise, which has just been in the editing bay, which I can't show you now. You'll see it tonight. So let me just close all this. Simply Green says, learning each tool has its own curve. That is true as well. That is true. So yeah, it's I don't know, because that whole thing about tools has just been something on my mind a lot, and I think people overvalue the tools like too much. Cybercell says vibe potency is tricky. That is, yeah, potency. Oh man, that there's something about that word you just said. I've been noticing something, about this. Something about vibe potency you could call. That's a good way to put it, actually. Do I want to? Okay, because there's a little story to this, but I should start getting something together first, and maybe I'll tell the story while I'm trying to work on stuff. The first thing I got to decide, because I need to render this bottom one. Oh, actually, what I'll do first, I'll try drawing Felix in the thumbnail in a sketch and see if that works better than Calder. And if it does, then I can go ahead with the full res version. But, hold on. Let me find, there we go. Let's make some layers here. I'm whipping out the tablet for this one. But with vibe potency, so in this video I've been doing, there's a lot of like hidden stuff in it. And I know this sounds very cryptic because none of you that aren't members have seen it yet. But I use a lot of clips from a specific movie to try and like illustrate my points about what's really important with all this stuff that people like making, with when you're writing a book, when you're making a game, when you're whatever it is. All right, let me just start sketching some kind of. I need to get the reference, because there's a specific reference I'm using where the guy has like his mouth open, and I want to give Felix the same expression. Some of you might know this picture. Let me just paste it here. So that's the expression, okay? So that and I need a picture of Felix as well, just so I remember what he looks like. But with all this stuff, right? there is something to be said, because one thing I try to talk about is the stuff because I've noticed the stuff I cherish about media, like games I played, books I've read, albums I've listened to, what have you. I've noticed that the stuff that's good, people are not arguing over what it was made with, if you know what I mean. People aren't. They like think of any game that you've really loved. I don't know. It could be Persona. It could be PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds or whatever. Think of anything you want and think about how little you cared about the tool it was made with. And if you did care about the tool, there's probably something wrong, you know? Hold on, I'm just trying to... There's a specific picture I'm trying to find of Felix. But I've noticed that whenever people do pay, like, notice, where it's like, oh, this was made in this tool, it's usually not a good thing, is it? It's usually because it sucks, I've found. It's usually because it's like, oh, I can tell this was a Unity game, or, you know, that's usually not good. Which is why I find it so bizarre. You go on YouTube right now. Hold on, I'm trying to dig through my folders and talk at the same time. I'm a terrible multitasker. Here's Felix. There we go. So the goal is I'm going to try and sketch Felix in this to look as wide-eyed and excited as possible about Unreal. So, all right, let's get it going. So the I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? You've probably noticed this. You've probably noticed it, right? Or even with, as Luke is talking about here with UI, he says a little bit about how Atlas makes the UI. Apparently they start with tools like Photoshop, After Effects, and makes some of the elements in the UI. Yeah. Now you notice how if you're not looking that up, and if you just play the game, you won't notice. You know what I mean? Like you won't go and go, oh, this was made in, they used Unreal to make this UI. Like, no one's thinking about it because it's so well designed that no one cares. They care about something else, not the tool. And I don't know, like you look at this up on YouTube, you search anything, you search how to write, you search how to make music, and you search how to make a game, and everyone is talking about the tools. I've just noticed it, and it has annoyed me a lot. There was a point that Cybershell made, vibe potency, where this ties into it, I think, is that, well, yeah, the vibe potency doesn't have anything to do with the tool at all, and that's more important than the tool. And how do you achieve that? Well, I've been trying to think about... So as I was saying in this video I've been doing, there's a lot of clips from a specific movie I'm using to try and make my point, and I'm using a lot of clips from this movie Treasure Planet. Have you guys seen that movie? It's really good, dude. It's an incredible film. For whatever reason, like barely anyone I know has watched it or has heard of it because it was released in 2002, and it did not do well in the box office. So I think it was like the last film that Disney worked, the last traditionally animated film that Disney did, and then they used the failure of that movie to justify shutting down their studio. And it was also, I think, to this day, is still like the first or second most expensive animated movie ever. But, hold on, I'm just trying to get Felix's... his neck here. The face is facing the wrong way. The reason I bring that up is because Treasure Planet is a treasure, I think, of a film. And it is a technological marvel, but it isn't because it's a technological marvel. And I've been noticing that it isn't just me that has remembered this movie. And I've been looking up clips of Treasure Planet and like the music video for it and all this stuff. And I read the comments, and a lot of people, the words they use about the movie are very similar to that of what Cybercell just said here about vibe potency, where they say, oh, there was just something about this movie that grabbed me, that touched my soul or grabbed my attention. And I think that ability for something to take you and just grab you like that, that's kind of the same idea. It's like that, it's that potency of something to snatch you like that. And that isn't that is not a thing, that's not an ability granted to the work from its software. There is a completely different ingredient that makes something able to take you, and not just take you like that, but to hold you in its clutches. Which, that's a skill, okay? And that's not something you magically fix by, I picked the right tool, guys. No, that's not how that works. So, I don't know, it's just something I've been thinking about. And I've noticed that just with a lot of, like, with that movie in particular, I just started noticing it there, because just like the comments people would leave about finding them, because it's interesting that they're all finding it 20 years after it came out. And that's, I don't know, there's something interesting about that. Something has to be really potent to survive through 20 years and still grab people and not lose its potency. And that's something I find very fascinating. You know, that's very fascinating, right? Not everything does that. Not everything can do that. It's just really, I think it's sick. Lucas says the human touch can do wonders when they know what they're doing. Precisely. That is, yes, very much so. So that's kind of, I guess you could apply the same to a thumbnail. One thing I'm trying to keep in mind here, I know I'm kind of obsessing over the angle of the face, but I'm trying to make sure that, you know, there's a reason why people, like, thumbnails are kind of, in a way, when done right, serve that a same purpose, where it's like it can still grab your attention even if the video's old. That's something I try to do. So I could do the lazy thing and just AI generate some kind of the Unreal logo in lava or something. Like I think I've actually seen, I see that everywhere now. It's like the problem with modern games, and it's some thumbnail that's AI generated with the Unreal logo in lava or something. But I know that those aren't, I don't know, there's something that I don't ever click on those for some reason. I know that they want me to. I know they're trying to. But there's something about it that I know it's like, I don't know, man. Now the key to this facial expression is this mouth, this sort of mouth shape. I don't know how you do this in the anime style. I don't know how you do this, but I'm trying. It's been a while since I've drawn little Felix here. I'm a little rusty on him. But especially, and in this expression too, I don't tend to draw expressions as much as I should be. But he has to look completely, I know that this would work better on him though, and not Calder. Calder is not a character that gets hyped about this. He's too old. I don't know, there's something not right about this face. About the eyes, maybe. Gotta make it more exaggerated. God. For whatever reason, an hour ago I was fine, but now my drawings suck for some reason. Do you guys ever have that? Where it's like, for like 30 minutes, it's like amazing, and then a magic thing happens, and then you just stop knowing how to draw for whatever reason? Happens to me sometimes, and I wish it wasn't happening right now. That would be great. I gotta try again. No, this is all wrong. All right. Now the eye line's too high. Felix has a lower eye line than Gabby. That's why it's probably looking off. Make him look stupidly goofy. Actually, you know, I should look up some anime reference. I don't look at enough anime. Anime shocked face. Let's have a look. Haha, maybe like that. That looks kind of angry though. I don't want him to look angry. That kind of looks angry. No, that's angry. That's shocked. A lot of angry faces. What would you call... The only word I know is like the soy face, but I know that there's probably a proper name for it. This is... Wow. This is cool. I don't know if this is exactly... No, this isn't exactly it. I'd like this... Something about this character design... It grabs me. It's got vibe potency. It grabs my attention. Something about that grabs my attention. because I don't know, maybe you can't get the soy expression with the anime style. I don't know. Maybe let's anime soy face. Maybe let's try that. Okay, this is actually just this isn't the art style I want. This is the expression I want, but I don't want this style. I don't want the Wojak style. I want the anime style, but with the expressiveness of that, I don't know. Is there maybe there's a keyword I'm not typing in or something? Oh, actually, this is kind of. Or maybe like that. Okay, we gotta shop around a bit for some reference. It's I don't know. Is there a better? Hold on, I can't see chat. Let me get you guys back. Is there a better keyword for this expression I'm trying? Dr. Stone. There's a lot of goofy. Who's Dr. Stone? Facial expressions. Okay, this isn't. It is. Yeah, it is goofy, but it's a bit too detailed. It's not my. Actually, yeah, you know what? Actually, anime style is quite diverse, isn't it? Because this isn't exactly how I draw anime. It's funny though. But is there shocked expression? This because I don't know if it's shock. It's not shock. I don't even know. It's like a. This is kind of a bit like it. I might this is a little bit, but not exactly. So even this is some AI generated, I know, but this is not even quite it either. This is like sincere shock, but there's something about the specific meme. There's something about it where it isn't. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's a grown man doing it that makes it different. I don't know. But it's like when it's like it's different when the thing they're reacting to doesn't warrant that reaction. But I've noticed with a child, that picture of the child making that face, it's different because a child does sincerely get shocked by it. Whereas this, it's like they're trying really hard to be impressed by something that is not impressive. I think that's the underlying thing about that facial expression that makes me interested in it. Hold on, let me see if you guys have any other. Dr. Stone. Will Raymond be the father of anime Soyjack? Maybe. If no one's done it, if no one else has done it, I guess I'll carry the burden. Make him look stupidly goofy. Well, yeah, we're trying. Jamie says, on that bit of Gabby, how is it spelled? It's spelled G-A-B-I, and I've chosen that spelling deliberately. A lot of people like to spell it Gabby with 2 B's or a Y. I didn't do that, though. I thought about this, because with Gabby, she has 1 ear, so therefore her name will have 1 B in it. That's it. That's literally... and it's cheaper as well. Less keystrokes, and if you're printing it on merch, it's cheaper, there's less letters. And the letter I looks cool, and that's literally it. That's how it's spelt. That's why it's spelt Gabby, G-A-B-I. On that bit of Gabby appearing in other games, if she were to use in a hoverboard, hover skates, hover bike, which would she use, like in Sonic Riders? Ooh. I'd probably say skates. I don't know. I guess that's what I think she would do. I don't know. I haven't asked her that question though. I'll have to. I don't know what she would do. I don't know if she knows how to ride other stuff. Maybe she secretly does, and I don't know. But I would guess skates. Goku Prowler face. I think I know this one. Goku Prowler. Yeah. I love this one. Hold on, I gotta get a new window open so you guys can see it. This is one of my favorite pictures of all time. It's so good. I love this. All right, let me get these other ones open here. What do the voices tell you? Well, you see, the voices don't quite work like that. If it's something about Gabby, because, you know, she has to say it. You know, she has her own voice. I don't get to use my voices to say what she's doing. She has her own voice that she says, that will say, oh, well, yeah, this is what I would do. So that's how that works. You know, the voices in my head don't have all the answers. Sometimes you gotta ask Gabby's voice, if you know what I'm saying. Oh man, I'd love to draw this facial expression right now, but this is not, maybe for another thumbnail. But I do love this. This is kind of the closest thing, but this is still kind of not. You know, actually, you know what? I just realized, you know what it is as well? It's the fact that the original meme, the difference between shock that looks cool and shock that looks like, you know, the meme, is that the shock that looks cool, they're actually looking at the thing, whereas they're not looking actually at the item. They're looking at their phone and they're pointing to the item. I think there's something about that makes a difference. So I don't know if there's like maybe I'll search anime selfie or something. Because there's something about the fact that they aren't looking at it, you know? And it's like, well, if it was so impressive, they wouldn't be able to avert their gaze from the plant-based fried chicken or whatever it is. If it was that cool, you know, they would frame the photo so that the chicken was in front of them and they were going like that at it, not pointing behind it, sort of thing. Because oh man, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but to look at somebody else and point at it, that's different from admiring something. It's like, hey, I think your opinion of this is more important than what I think of it. I think that's what this picture, maybe that's what really this picture is saying. Maybe that's why people are so moved by this picture, because it's more like, hey, what's your opinion? But it's like, well, that's not really the right attitude to be looking at this with. I don't know. It feels kind of, that's not the way Goku would look at something, if you know what I'm saying. I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it. Low res shocked Pikachu face? Yeah, let's have a look. Shocked. On Gabby? Oh, no, I'm happy with Gabby's facial expression. I think I did get the expression of that guy, but it's just this, because he's closer up and he's distorted by the lens. Oh, why is it giving me... I'm searching it into Google, but it's giving me shopping results for shocked Pikachu. I'll leave shocked Pikachu open. Maybe I'll just try... Now that I've looked at some more images, I'll try... I'll give this another crack. We'll see if I can notice anything. Right now, I'll try and move these. Yo. Farplane says no, it's just guys getting excited over nothing. I think, yeah, that's part of it as well, but I think it's both. It's the fact they're getting excited over nothing, and they care about what you think. It's like, isn't this exciting for you too? Oh my god! Like that's kind of what I'm reading in this image, and I think those things go away when the thing itself is impressive, and they are kind of keeping it to themselves, and they don't care if you think it's cool. I think that's kind of that's the opposite, the spiritual opposite of this picture. Oh, I think it's the angle of the head is wrong. Hold on, I'm just gonna start over. I have been trying to practice my drawing lately, though. I don't know why I'm suddenly... I don't know, maybe it's because I'm on stage or something. Maybe it's because I'm live and my skills magically vanish. You guys have all had this problem, right? trying to get the perfect circle. Hold on. You guys have all had this. Maybe, unless you're a coder. Maybe not. Maybe coders don't have this and they just do everything perfect. Why is my Photoshop... Okay. Why isn't it drawing? Uh-oh, what have I done? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Why is my Photoshop not drawing? There we go. Okay. Let's try this focus. I'll try drawing it smaller. It might help. Because it's like distorted by the lens, so because his jaw becomes like, his face becomes foreshortened this way, and I'm terrible at drawing faces that are foreshortened. I'm very bad at it. I'm good at drawing them from like neutral angles. And because Felix is no, because you can't really put a grown man's jaw on a boy. It doesn't really work. Because this guy, when you have your mouth like that, your jaw does a thing, and Felix's jaw is not. And because anime jaws, they don't act like that. They always draw them as triangles, no matter what you're doing. I don't know. I gotta get Dr. Stone. I'm gonna look at his face. I've just got it open on the side here. Actually, maybe I'll move this on the screen. You guys can see. There we go. And then I can read chat better. Tomox says, I've been told that when you stream, you give yourself -10 intelligence. That's correct. That's right. That's why I stopped doing work live on my streams. It was just, that's why I like to use them as more progress reports, but I really have to get this done today, and I need to stream, so I figured I'll just this once. Just this once, master. I'll go all out. Oh, there's a way... You know what? I'm just going to try and draw the Dr. Stone face shape, because that is kind of... The face shape of this, I'm going to try and draw. Because it is the most similar. God damn, why do I suck? Why is my... What? I was doing, like, I did this morning. This was fine. And now it's like, I can't even draw a circle. What's going on, man? Something about his eyes as well. I don't know if I don't want to do those eyes. Thanks, Luca, for the 5.
If you want some references to soy-jack-like faces on anime, you should definitely search for anime wow face. I'm not kidding, sorry for the spam BTW.
Whoa, hold on. Thank you. Hold on a sec. I tried opening a new window. There we go. What was it? Anime wow face. Thanks so much. And you're not, dude, if you're super chatting me money, it's not spam. So I appreciate that. Oh, you know what? Actually, yeah, anime wow face. Oh, yes. This has it, dude. It has the spirit. Dude. Yeah, man. This is it. This is it. Okay, let's collect some specimens here. The starry eyes, dude. Oh, I never thought of that. Yes, the starry eyes. Oh, dude, this is perfect. Thank you. I don't know what it is about it though, but it's so perfect. It's got that. You know, and you can hear the image. You know what I mean? Where it's like the image itself is like it makes that noise where it's like, oh, that's the noise that this image is making. That's the spirit of this image. Oh, this is brilliant. Oh yeah, baby. Let's go. Let's paste some of those in here. Let's get a whole mood board going. Let's get a whole
Get into
Thanks.
trim sheets, nerd.
Thanks, Yuan, for the 1,000 ARS. How much is that in Australian? That's $1. Thank you so much. Well, that's coming. I'm doing a devlog on that right now, but that comes after. There's like 2 other episodes I've also am workshopping. I've got the episode on Gabby's model, and then the one on the animations, and then there's I've written some kind of script for the trim sheets. Oh no, I've got a post on it on Patreon right now. So if you really want me to get into the trim sheets, you can sign up there and you can read all about it right now. But I'm trying to work it into a nice video so that everyone, not just the live streamers, will know about it. But yeah, I know everyone's very... Why is that one red? I don't know. Maybe he's angry. Maybe that's why it's red. Oh, they're a random color? Okay. I don't know if you could pick them or not. It would be interesting if you could pick them. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? All right, one last picture. One last reference. I think this will be enough reference for me to go off. This is it. Yeah. Okay, what's this? Why do I have a blank document here? 2 untitled. There we go. All right. Okay. One says I wasn't angry. Okay, good. But yeah, if you really want to get into the trim sheet stuff, because if I do start talking about it, I'm not going to be able to work. I need to be focused. So, yeah, there'll be a video. You'll have to just delay gratification for a bit. But if you really want to dive into that right now, you can go back and watch one of my VODs from last month, or sign up to Patreon. I've got a huge, massive write-up that I'm turning into a script, which will then become a video. Trim seats are live, especially if you're going for PlayStation. Yeah, dude, they are. They are pretty good. You know what's insane, though, is that nobody had ever told me about them. It's pretty crazy. There was a guy I worked with on environments. How long ago was that now? I released a video about this that whole thing when I tried to get a professional. I released the video on that maybe 4 months ago. But all of that work happened maybe a year and a half or 2 years ago. And this was a guy that had kind of mentored me with environment work many years ago. That's why I chose them. They had done a lot of they've done like commercial work on like published games and all that. They'd done some indie stuff, and they were like an environment expert. But they didn't know. Like, they had never heard of trim sheets. They didn't know the difference between a trim sheet and a texture, and it was insane. I was just like, people were doing this 20 years ago.
More memes for future references. You could always look up You Are Already Dead.
I'll be sure to. I'll keep that in my tab here. I don't think I'll need it right now, but You Are Already Dead. That's a good one. Thanks, Tomak, for the 20, dude. Thanks so much. You've been a real one, man. I really do appreciate that. You know, because ultimately, it is a lot easier to make money by kit bashing assets together and fooling people into thinking you know design, like what happened to me. So I really appreciate people wanting to support what I'm doing here, to do it the hard way and to try and actually learn what's going on with stuff, where it's trim sheets or vibe potency or what have you. But thanks. That one is a classic, says Luca. I think I have seen it. That's I haven't. These all seem to be like from JoJo's. I haven't seen JoJo's, but I was talking to someone recently and they said it was their favorite show. So I'm starting to think maybe this whole JoJo's thing is not so bizarre after all. Maybe there's something to it. Okay, I keep drawing this crooked. I don't know why I keep drawing this crooked. But yeah, trim sheets are life. They're incredible. I wish the professional I had paid had told me that was a thing. Because then I would have just, it would have been a lot easier to direct, and it would have been easier to get environments done. But that's why, yeah, sometimes it's well worth to go back in time to not look at the latest Unreal 5.6 feature update and just go back 20 years and look at what those guys were doing. Because that was pretty good, actually. It had merit. One says, the reason I subscribed to your channel is because you were doing your own textures, bake lighting into textures. Oh, well, thanks. Well, yeah, oh man, I wish I could always talk about that stuff, you know? It is like actually pretty cool. But yeah, there's a lot in game development. There's a lot of stuff beyond just that. But that is definitely, I've been trying to think of, I guess you'll really enjoy the video I end up making on it then, because I want to have like a dedicated, there's an episode I'm dedicating all to that. And it's, there's just so much to say about it. I couldn't even know where to begin with it, but there's a reason. The history of all of that goes back quite far, actually. The principles of that whole thing, of building levels like that, extend far beyond game development, actually. I think I mentioned I learned it from reading a book from the 1980s that gave me the idea of doing BSP, which then gave me the idea of doing tiles, which then gave me the idea of, it got me onto trims, and then that got me into, it was like a big domino effect just from some book I read. Not some YouTube tutorial, just some old book before game development was a thing. And I was like, man, some principles really are timeless like that, you know? And it's pretty cool. But yeah, there's a lot I want to say about it when the time comes. I'm just thinking, because maybe I should scale this up. There's something about the lower torso I'm doing wrong. The angle is too this way. I keep doing that for some reason. I don't know why I keep doing that. Let me just look at the reference more closely. I think it's because I'm looking at Felix's reference where his neck is leaning forward, and I just keep subconsciously copying that. Okay, I'm gonna try again. Sorry, it's just I have the worst time drawing on stream, I've noticed. That's the one, like, even with programming and stuff, it's hard, but with drawing, for whatever reason, it's even harder. I don't know what it is. Let me just focus for a minute. Let me just focus for a second. I gotta get the foundations, and then I can start talking. Because he has to kind of look as though he's also paying attention to what's behind him. I think the mouth from this WoW guy at the bottom corner is definitely the mouth I want. But you see the jaw, you see what I was talking about here with the jaw? Anime jaws don't act like real jaws. They always have the sharp triangle tip, no matter what. One says I'm an Unreal Engine super mega power user. The guy that gave you those environments makes us look bad. Yeah, unfortunately it would seem so. Working on this Argentinian Netflix production. Oh wow. Cool. I've not heard of that. The Antonaut. I'm not really a Netflix guy myself. Well, that's cool. I didn't know they were doing that for Netflix stuff. Nobody gave about performance. It was wild. Well, I mean, I guess if you're doing a TV show, it doesn't really matter, I suppose. But in a game, I guess it's the different rules. I suppose. I don't know. I don't work in TV, so. But if I had to guess, I don't know, there's probably different rules when you're doing a show, I'd imagine. But yeah, in my case with that other dude, that's like game stuff. It's I think I quite reasonably hold them to a higher standard, especially with 15 years. Making games for 15 years. I reckon that's plenty of time to learn the mistake. You can't just kit bash and make something good. Jamie says that's why it's spelled like that. It's cool. Wait, hold on. Why? What's spelled like that? This okay. I don't know where the conversation's going. You guys are off. What's Twitch chat doing? Let's have a check on them for a sec. Salty. Do I have any experience with animation? Depend on what you would count as experience. I would like to consider myself having no experience in anything personally, because, you know, I don't make like heaps of money. So, you know, if I was that good, I would be really wealthy. So I wouldn't say I have experience. I will say that I have an obsession, and that's kind of the best I can do, really. And I have spent a few years, you know, on animations, but, you know, it's, I don't really know how you would count experience, really. Because, you know, experience could just be messing around, which isn't always valuable. Sometimes, but not always. Salty says, I'm not an artist at all. I'm just looking for some resources on how to do basic stuff. I am a programmer and making a game engine for the challenge of it. That being said, I'm not making a game, but I need some animations so I can implement basic stuff. I'm just trying to suss out what your actual question here is. You want to learn how to make animations? Look on resources and how to do the basic stuff. Like basic animation, I guess. I don't know, because animation is really far from basic. I would guess if you really know nothing, look up the 12 principles. Just, and maybe watch like one video on how to make keyframes. I don't know how to implement that in a game engine from scratch, though. I don't know. That's not really my territory. But if you just want to make animations in Blender, I don't know, just watch some tutorial on how to animate and just read about the principles, and then make just animate a lot and animate until you stop being bad at it, and then I don't know. I think that's what's worked for me. So I don't know. That's all I don't know. I don't really know because depends on what you count as basic. I don't really know what basic is. But 12 principles, I guess, is foundational. So I would say start there. Not trying to derail, I'm just animating balls in Aspirite. Well, yeah, I guess animating balls that's pretty basic. I can make them animate fine. I'm just struggling with actually making a walking cycle. All right, well, a walking cycle is not basic. I guess, yeah, just watch. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what I did for animating Gabby. You just have to watch people and watch a lot of reference and just pay attention and just do that for a long time. And then you'll pick up on stuff. And yeah, I don't know. It's you just have to get to work, really. Like, there isn't going to be some magic piece of advice I think I can give you. I think that maybe that's what you're looking for, where it's like, can Raymond tell me some magic tip that'll solve my roadblock? And no, you just have to get to work. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Just keep animating. I don't know. Just try making a walk cycle. And when it's done and it sucks, look at why it sucks. Look at it closely and go, because it will suck. Okay, you're not going to be able to avoid it sucking by talking to me. Okay, you got to look at it and go, okay, this sucks. Why? Why does it suck? Then go look at other people's walks. Go and watch people in real life walk. Watch videos of it, and then like look frame by frame at each thing. Look at the posture. Look at everything, and go, what is different about mine? Look at the timing. Look at it's like, well, this leg comes in a bit earlier than this one, and like you just got to be kind of dialed in, and I don't know, that's sort of how you just do that for like years and then you'll get pretty okay at it. So yeah, that's why, again, it's hard for me to quantify how much experience I have, because I started learning Blender 10 years ago, but I didn't spend 10 straight years on just doing like animations. Like, I've been doing a lot of stuff, and animation is maybe something I'm doing like 10% of the time. So I don't know. But if you went like that full hardcore for 2 straight years, you'd probably make, I don't know, some pretty good animations. Cosmic says people walk up and down arc, so as long as you focus on the points where the cycle of the walk is set arc, always keep follow through in mind for the legs and the head and torso. Yeah. I think actually maybe this is the sort of tip you were trying to find. This is different. This is something you probably will not do for the bouncing. Maybe that's why you're struggling, because when you're doing a bouncing ball, you don't do this. Bouncing ball... Oh, maybe I do know something about animation after all. Because with the bouncing ball, it's a straight ahead thing where you just animate the whole thing like a physics object, where you do the one frame and then the next frame and then the next frame and then the next. When you're doing a walk cycle, though, that's not how you do it. You don't do it straight ahead like that. You do it pose to pose. So you got to suss out what are the key actions, what's the key poses, and then just do those first, and then worry about the next in between stuff. I would say if you're struggling to make a walk cycle and it's smooth and fluent, but it sucks somehow and you don't know why, don't do all the in betweens immediately. Just do like what do you need to walk? Oh, I need the legs fully spread out, and then I need the leg lifting up. I don't know. Can I draw it? You know. These little stick guys. So you got the legs fully out. Got the leg coming up. I can't even remember. You'll know. Okay, I haven't done a walk cycle in a while, but you'll know. Okay, you know this type stuff, where it's like the legs fully out, the legs together, the legs passing through, and then it loops. Just do those 4. Get those 4 looking decent. Just start there. Okay, that's all I'm going to tell you. That's all you need to know. And then just get to it. Salty says, "Oh, what was that noise?"
If I remember right, Dan Floyd did some videos on the 12 principles of animation and game examples that use them well.
I recognize that name. Where do I recognize that name? Thanks so much, by the way, whoever that was. For some reason, it's not showing on my... Oh, that was Tomok again. Oh, thanks, dude. It wasn't I think my YouTube chat froze again. I'll have to refresh it. Yes. Oh, that's the guy. I know Dan Floyd. That's the guy that does... He was on Extra Credits, but then he isn't now. And he's... Yeah, he does have a video on that. Yeah, I guess that's a good watch. I don't think I ever actually... I think there was one video of his I've watched, I think, that was about Overwatch or something. But that's it. But yeah, I guess that's a good start too. But yeah, don't... You gotta be careful not to over consume tutorials. That's a mistake. Sometimes it is just as simple as getting to work and watching. Okay, yeah, my YouTube dashboard is just frozen. Lovely. Thanks, Alphabet Incorporate. That's amazing. What great software you have. All right, can I reopen this in another tab? Salty says, I love watching people, so that's fine. I was just wondering if you had some good resources. I'll keep sucking with a passion. That's right, dude. That's what you got to do. That's how I became a developer. Well, yeah, and that's how you become an animator as well. If you don't get good, if you don't put in the work. Thanks for the straight up answer, though. I'll stop bothering you now. Oh, hey, man, it's no bother. What would bother me is, well, what would bother me? I don't know. What would bother me if you spent the rest of the day watching YouTube tutorials instead of just doing your poses. Yeah, just do your poses. You'll be all right. But yeah, good question, though. Thanks for taking the answer in good sport. I know that, because I don't know, I've noticed a lot of people, when I was teaching, they didn't like being told this. They wanted me to kind of reach over their desk and do it for them. But it's like, you have to be comfortable looking foolish. You gotta make bad stuff. Like I am right now. Like, this face sucks. I still can't do the simple anime soy face right now, and it sucks, but I don't care. I will get there. We will do it. We'll make it. When I do the eyes rounder like this does look more soy, actually. And the mouth, hold on. You got to have this up curve. There we go. Now it's coming in. Man, maybe I just needed to follow that advice myself, and then I magically found the answer to making the perfect face. Because it does have that kind of whoa look to it, which is that's kind of the look, isn't it? What is not, I think the eyes are a bit too high though. They shouldn't be hitting the top of the eyelash. That's the cool thing about digital art, is that I don't have to rub it out every time. Because yeah, Felix's eyes. Oh, because I haven't really worked. Oh, you know who I need to look up? Because I've been drawing Gabby's eyes differently since doing her model, and I've come up with like my own system of drawing eyes now. Oh, who was that?
Did you get some Snickers last stream's BTW? Yum.
Oh, thanks so much, Snapil, for supporting. Yes, I did actually. I actually did. I don't have a picture of it, so you'll just have to trust me. But I did do it. I actually did make the effort, and I bought myself a little Snickers. And it actually, you know what? Something weird started happening. All the voices in my head went away, and I stopped having thoughts. And it was pretty terrifying, actually. So yeah, that kind of left me in a weird state because you were the one that told me, wasn't it? It's like, you're not you when you're hungry, and I was rambling too much. So I ate a Snickers, but then all my thoughts just went away. It's pretty terrifying. So I don't know. I guess I have to be careful when I choose to consume a Snickers. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I like what the voices tell me. Admirals, you're not you when you're hungry. Maybe. See, I don't know. Maybe I am me when I'm hungry. That's what I'm starting to think. Maybe that Snickers advertising is propaganda. I don't know. Maybe it's trying to... I don't know. But yeah, it did satiate me though, and I appreciate the support. The having the backing to buy Snickers. And actually, dude, unironically, it was pretty nice. Man, something about Snickers. I don't know what it is, but they make them good. But yeah, I was going to look up this character. One more reference, because Gabby's eyes I draw a particular way, and I haven't found the way of drawing the eyes for the other characters yet. And I know that there's this character that I just remembered, and I know that there's a certain way that his eyes are drawn that I like. So I'm going to try and do a similar thing. Because Gabby's eyes are angular. They have that positive canthal tilt going on. But Felix is not meant to... Felix is not meant to have like the prey eyes. You know what I'm saying? He's meant to have like innocent boy eyes. So I can't draw them like Gabby's eyes, you know? So that's... And these eyebrows, they got to have this sort of point in the eyebrows like that. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere now. I think we're getting somewhere. Because you know what? I think because drawing a pose is way easier than drawing a face. I've found. Yeah, this is starting to look like it. I'll have to make him a bit bigger because he's meant to take up more space in the thumbnail. Now the hair. I haven't drawn his hair from this angle. A lot of these characters have similar haircuts, don't they? Gilligan says also super early in development, but I was curious if once the game is finished, it will have workshop support, so people can make mods. Ah, yes. I have had people ask me that. I don't know if that's going to be a thing. Thanks so much, Nabil, for the 20,000 IDR.
It'll funny have another next time if you want to.
Oh, thank you so much. I'll keep it in my secondary, okay? When my voices start going too crazy, I'll swap out for my secondary and I'll let the Snickers bar do the thinking. But thanks so much, dude. I'll keep that. Hopefully the price of Snickers doesn't go up by the next time I need it. Whoa, another. Whoa. Thanks,
Here,
Juan.
Have another $1. Are you Australian? The land down under where severed heads, cut copy and ice house come from.
Thank you so... Oh, another... Okay, guys, we got to calm down a bit.
Have another $1. Are you Australian? The land down under where severed heads, cut copy and ice house come from.
Why did it do that twice? Okay, thanks, Juan, and thanks, Nabil. Yes, I will get a Snickers, and yes, I am Australian, as I'm very ashamed to say. Yeah, mate, so... We're, This morning, to get to my room here, that's right, I got out of bed, went outside, rode a kangaroo around the front yard, and then came back. That's how I travel. That's how me and my day, we traveled to work every morning. Yeah, man. So yes, no, Admiral. That's not an Australian word. That's British. That's a British word, innit? Nah, us Aussies, mate. No, we don't use those British words. Freaking struth. I don't know what people say. I don't spend enough time around fair dinkum full-grown Aussies, so I try my best to fit in to the society, to do the voice, to accept the culture, drinking a VB long neck at 20 to 8 in the morning. But yeah, I'm only half Australian, that's why people aren't entirely sure. But I reside in Australia. Are you Australian one? That's the real question. How many Australians watch me? That's the question. According to my analytics, the entire planet, as we all know, is basically one big neighborhood in Los Angeles, California. And I know, I'm starting to think maybe Australia is just one of those neighborhoods. I don't know. I just noticed, YouTube, for whatever reason, it's just overwhelmingly Los Angeles. I don't know what it is. Lucas says, yeah, mate, those words aren't Aussie. That's right. Init is not fair dinkum, okay? We don't be talking British around these parts. Best electronic music I grew up with was Australian, no joke. Was that music Pendulum by any chance? That's the only electronic Australian band I've heard of. That's why I'm wondering. But to answer your question, who was it? Gilligan. Workshop support. Look, I know it is a cool idea. It does sound like a good idea, but I think you overestimate my power. Okay, I am not the chosen one. I'm not Mr. Skywalker. I don't have the power of the dark side. I don't know how to implement workshop support. Could I learn how to? Given enough time, yes. But there are also a lot of things I have to learn beyond, apart from that. So my priority is just making a good game, which I already have to learn a lot of overwhelming stuff to do anyway. And if I can just do that, that's what I think things like workshop is like a bonus where it's like it would be cool, but could you do it without workshop support? And it's like, well, yeah, you probably could. And I think, in life, that's just, you have to sometimes, got to make compromises like that. You can't always have it all. So that's something I'm willing to not have, even though I know it would be good and that it would increase the longevity of it, which I totally get. But, I'm not an all-powerful Sith Lord type guy. So if I do get really good someday, though, maybe. But I know that is not the privilege of including everything you want is not something granted on your first attempt, I feel. So, yeah. But I do appreciate that people want it. It's not that you're wrong for wanting it. It's just that I'm not that guy. I'm not him. So I don't know how to do it. And it is just funny to say, says Admiral. It is true. Severed heads, says one. Okay, I've never heard of severed heads. But they must be pretty fair dinkum, hopefully. Gilligan says, about Gabby's suit, it's called the Feline suit, but it doesn't have a cat motif. So I was thinking maybe give her suit some toe beans and claws. Oh, okay. Well, I've noticed, it sounds like you've just watched one of my older devlogs, because I've actually not thought about her suit for a while. And, hold on, let me just draw this hairline first, and then I'll resume that point, because I'm just struggling with this Felix's hairline here. Why can't I draw hair anymore? What's going on? Okay, hold on a second. More chat is coming in.
If performance in UE5 is art for you, just hit me up. I could make some tests for you to see if we are on the same wavelength.
Well, thanks for offering one, and thanks for the 2000 ARS. I appreciate that. I think I'm good though. I'm performance in UE5 is an art for you. I don't really know what that means. I'm not using UE5. I'm just using. I think I'm using 4.27 just because that's what I started on, and I'm just comfortable with it. But I think I've got a handle on it. I just gotta. It just takes time. I appreciate you offering though, but I think I can handle it. Just take some love, attention, and time, and it's also cheaper if I just do it. So there's that. But thank you. You watched all 41 devlogs, Gilligan. My goodness. There's been 40? Huh. Well, that would explain a lot. Damn. I didn't realize I'd made that many. Well, thank you for watching all those. But I want to resume your point in just a second. I just need to figure out how to draw hair. It's gonna because Felix's hair is like kind of I don't know. I haven't been as deliberate with his hairstyle as Gabby. I know how to draw Gabby's hair from memory, but I can't do Felix because I don't draw Felix as often, so I don't. There's something about the shape of it. It has to be a certain way. He has a part on the side, and he has a bit of hair that kind of goes up like that. But it has a kind of bowl, a scruffy bowl type shape. But it's sticking too close to his skull. I think that's what's wrong. Let me just move all that. I just gotta zoom out for a minute. But on the suit, I'll hold that thought for a sec. I am really going to need to figure out this haircut situation and how to draw this. I got to relearn how to draw my own character because I will need to know this for the in-game content as well. For those curious why, you might be wondering, why does Ray hand draw his thumbnails? Well, part of it is because I'm not going to be doing, for the game's plot, which I've thought about a bit, I'm not going to be doing like in-engine cinematics, too much effort. But I know how to draw well. When I'm not streaming, I know how to draw. And it's actually quicker to draw out stuff than to do a full-on motion captured cinematic whatever. So part of what this is training me for is the stage where I'm going to have I want to have little comic strips of plot. Not huge, just little bits. That's how I want to tell the story in the game, is just through little comic strips. And actually making YouTube thumbnails is quite good practice. Because it's what is a YouTube thumbnail? It's basically a little comic strip, isn't it? Comics, there was a book I've been reading lately about comic book writing, and a lot of the principles of writing good comics applies to YouTube thumbnails, weirdly enough. So that's kind of, this will pay off in the future. But I just got to get through this goddamn how to draw his hair. Because it sort of has, like, it isn't really wavy. It's, like, straight but bouncy, you know? It's not, like, slick straight like Goku or, or, like, Spock or something. But it's sort of he's got lush, bouncy hair. Like, it's got a youthful energy to it. It's just I haven't drawn, because this drawing in the little corner here, this is from like 2 years ago, and I haven't really drawn him that much since then. Oh yeah, this is looking good. This is looking good. He's looking very, very. He's looking quite soy, if I do say, which is what I want. But it's just this bit on the side here. I'm just trying to get a thing here. What's going on? Because I don't know how to say what I'm trying to do, but there's a certain shape it has to be, and I know it. I don't know how to describe it, but I know it. The voices tell me, but I don't know how to, how to explain it in English. Because this is too flat. It's too flat. Maybe it's because I'm drawing it so close to the border. Maybe that could be why. So let's try and redraw his skull. I rubbed out his skull. Should not have done that. Cosmic says Los Angeles audience might be thanks to the cool Y2K color palette these stream thumbnails. Intrigue, potential interest. I didn't know that was a... I didn't know Y2K was a California thing. Look, I don't live in California, and I think it's cool. I don't know. Why would... I don't know, it's interesting. Familiarity in a nostalgic yet retro palette. An eye-catching anime art style plus Gabby in a dynamic pose might be a contributor. I think those are contributors to people being interested, but I don't know why it's people specifically from Los Angeles, though. That's what I don't understand. Because, look, that's all on purpose. I do that stuff because I find it cool, and I'm an Aussie. So what's the deal? I don't know. And a lot of it's Japanese art style anyway. If anything, it's like I'm surprised there's not more Japanese people. I don't know. Actually, maybe that's not a surprise. Maybe the Japanese are looking at me and going, this Westerner, this guy sucks. That's probably what they're thinking. So, I don't know. Maybe that's, I don't know. Maybe that's why it's all Los Angeles. Maybe, I don't know. It is odd though. It's something I've always wondered. Part of me thinks it's maybe because YouTube is headquartered in Los Angeles. Maybe that's good. And Twitch is as well, actually, isn't it? So maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's part of it. I'm just trying to get his crane. I totally should not have rubbed out his head. Because his head, what's the, I don't know, there's a name for the bone. Their corpus callosum, whatever you want to call it. It has to be bigger on Felix, because when you're young, your head is bigger. Like the proportion of your face and your skull, the skull is usually bigger, and the face is smaller. You'll notice that about all this reference. So I got to make sure that the head the haircut doesn't that conforms to the rules there. And maybe it's because I haven't actually drawn Felix from straight on like this. Is probably why I'm struggling. Because I've just noticed that the references are all from different angles. So it's like, maybe that's why. No, that's not right. Because there's something about his haircut that's meant to say something, though. Because it's meant to look kind of youthful, kind of bouncy and playful. But Felix is an orphan, for those that don't know the lore. So it can't be like... I had an earlier concept where he had a very tidy bowl cut. But it was like, well, where the hell would he be getting a tidy bowl cut from? If he's like, living out of a shed. Wouldn't really work. So I've like made it scruffier. But when you make it scruffier like this, it's harder to draw, which I didn't account for when I made that choice. But it's this freaking area here. I can't get the right, because I'm so frustrated. I don't know why I'm so stuck on this. Maybe I'll try moving the part up here, maybe, instead of like off to the side like that. Maybe that'll help, because I think maybe there's just too much room on that part of his... Because he's meant to have like these sort of long strands at the top, and then they kind of get shorter at the bottom. That's right, yes, I've put in a lot of thought into my characters' haircuts. As I'm sure the Dragon Ball dude, he probably did the same. That's why every Dragon Ball character has like a trademark for a haircut. Cosmic says, new future devlog idea, hair. Perhaps. This could be it right now. Hey guys, welcome to another devlog. So, in this episode, we'll be talking about hair. And I went to go study barbers and study how people cut actual hair, which maybe is something I actually have done. Don't laugh. But I remember thinking, actually, that is going to be part of the devlog on Gabby, because I redesigned her haircut to be easier to draw, more distinctive, and easier to model and rig, and easier to animate. And there was actually quite a lot of thought that we did. I think, that's why I'm struggling. It's because I put all this effort and thought into her haircut. That's why I didn't have any trouble drawing Gabby's hair this morning. But I haven't really put the same deliberation and rules. Because, people do that, by the way. You look at The Simpsons or you look at anime. They actually have like full-on style guides on how to exactly draw this character's hair. So it's like, this many strands, no more than, like, there's 3 strands, not 4 on the front or whatever. Like, they have that all figured out. I don't have this figured out for Felix. And they figure that stuff out so that you don't do what I'm doing here and you get stuck on this and go, oh, well, how many strands do I want? Like, that's why they have these style guides, but I haven't made one for Felix. And they will have the character, you know, drawn from all the different angles so that they can just look at their own reference. Thanks, Luca, for the 5.
I think trying to think of the hair as a bunch of folded paper could help getting the base, and later putting the cuts and detail to look like hair.
I'll try that, actually. I'll try that. Let me, yeah, I know what you mean. Big shapes. That's why I'm getting stuck. I think maybe it's because I'm streaming, because when you're streaming, you want to go, oh, check this out. Look at my cool strands. You get that temptation to show off too much. Maybe that's what I'm doing. So let's, okay. Oh, I've rubbed out, I should have done this on another layer. Let's get his head shape back. I think as well, I've been watching too much Western animation lately. So I've like lost my ability to draw anime. No. Okay, let's all right. Don't forget the Feline. So yeah. Let me just get. I just need the. I'll get onto the suit in a moment. I just really need to figure this out, and then my reward for getting the hair will be to. We'll get into that. But I appreciate your patience. I just really need to get this right. Okay, let me think. Actually, you know, first, just so that I don't really... I'm going to give myself the biggest set of training wheels ever. I'm going to trace over my own drawing here and just suss out the broad shapes. We're going to suss them out. We're going to pretend as though we're going to give it like the bowl. It's just the bowl right now, and then we'll trim it. We'll cut bits into it later. I just want to get what's going on with him. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm starting to recognize what I actually originally had done. Maybe I need to draw it like a bowl cut first, and then take chunks out. All right. I might move him close. I'll move these little guys out of the way. Yeah, maybe I'll do another layer for this. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay. Let's save.
You are aware we are all wanting to succeed in this thing, right? Your approach to making an indie game is beyond right.
Oh, thanks, thanks, Juan, for the 1,000 Rs. That's what I'm going to call that currency now, because I can't help myself but call it Rs, A-R-S. Thanks so much, dude. Well, that's good to know. Thank you. Well, I don't know if I'd call it beyond right. It's my best, though. Hopefully that's good enough. But thank you. I wouldn't say everyone wants me to succeed, though, I will say. But I appreciate that there are people who do. That means a lot. But yeah. But it's quite hard to do, actually. As it would turn out. It is quite hard to do it and succeed. Very tall order. Rashad says, I like your cut, G. Yeah, that's the reaction. When people see this thumbnail, dude, they gotta look at Felix and go, hey, I like your cut. That's what I want them to say. They're not gonna say that if I don't do this right, so... You know, on that thought, beyond right, as I've been working on this whole thing longer, I've just come to notice that right is it's a hard thing to quantify, I think, but because I think I have at points, you know, gotten into like debates, arguments, or what have you, or disagreements over what right is, what's the right thing to do, and I don't know. I'm starting to realize that right is really more to do with yourself than with, you know, whatever the method or whatever it is. I don't know. That's part of it. That's part of why I'm so excited for this devlog, because I do go into a bit of that, and how what will be right for one person will not be right for another. And I don't know. That's something I think does get neglected a lot in the online discourse about game development, or not even just game development, actually, because I don't ask why, but a while ago I was doing a lot of research on novelists, and they were it was the same kind of stuff where you look up how to write a novel, and it's all people that are going, oh, well, here's the top 5 tips on how to write a novel, and it's usually like superficial periphery information that doesn't matter. And I'm finding more and more that that actually will work for some people, but it won't work for everybody. And I do sit and wonder sometimes, what is it that makes some things right for some people and not right for other people? And the answers, I don't know, maybe this, because I don't go deep into this in my video. I kind of go around it a bit to talk about something else. But I do think it is well worth to study human psychology. I find that you will find a lot of answers about what the right thing is if you understand how different people are. And when you look at that sort of thing, when you start, because that's something else I just read a lot about. By no means a professional psychologist, but I do find it interesting. I think it's interesting when you're doing characters in particular, because part of I think part of what makes even a good plot for writing characters is that the characters aren't all just copies of the author. They aren't just copy pastes of each other, and that they have different things that work for them. So something that might work for Felix might not work for Gabby or something. And it might sound obvious when you're talking about characters. It's like, oh, well, of course, you've got to make interesting conflict or whatever. It might sound obvious, but I think people don't realize that applies to the real world, which is why it applies to fiction, because art imitates life. So, you know, something I do think about now. I don't know if have I got a bit over. Let's try and like cut into his hair here. I'm just trying to like, oh, wait a minute. Actually, yeah, maybe this will work, because I was wondering if I put the part in the wrong place. And actually, I put it on the wrong place on this side. So this is actually kind of neat. I haven't, because I've drawn his hair longer, and I actually have never done that before. And he actually, not gonna lie, looks kind of cool with this sort of shaggy long hair. I don't know. Am I gonna redesign my character right now? What's going on? He does look, kind of cute with the sort of, I don't know, do they call this the Beatles cut? I don't know what they call this, but it's a bit more carefree looking. It's a bit less maintained. I don't know. Something about it's kind of cool. Okay, this is yeah. Thanks for I think it was Luca. Thanks for the tip there. This is a bit easier. Yeah. It's just because I think in the original concept, it's like trimmed around his ears a bit, which does make him look a bit more boyish. Actually, yes, because when you have it, it looks too similar to Gabby. I think that's why I must have kept it short. Because if he has the volume, it looks too much like Gabby. It's got to look more masculine. One must imagine Gabby happy. Yeah. While waiting for the big reveal, I have a few lightweight questions. Like, what if we get skins for Gabby, will it just be a skin or have upgrades? Oh man, I think I remember when I made her first model, I was preparing like, oh, I could do skins. But I don't know, I'm finding there are a lot more important things than skins to work on. So I don't know if that's something I'll end up doing, unless there's some kind of like incentive that makes it worth it. Just because it isn't, I don't know, it isn't really worth the time presently to do skins. there would have to be some kind of other incentive for that to be worthwhile. But if it would, I'd imagine it would probably be like just different colors or something. I don't think, I don't know, things like higher changing stats. I don't know. The voices tell me don't do it, so I'd listen to the voices. But as a reward, yeah, like if I were to do it, it would be kind of maybe as a reward for that. But the thing is, because the way that, I guess because you guys don't know this yet, you will. When I do this devlog on her model, you'll realize that actually making a skin would be really difficult because of the way that Gabby is built. With the specific style and the standards of an Arc System Works model, it is actually quite a demanding amount of work, more so than most characters in most video games, to make skins. Especially anything that isn't a recolor. So the Guilty Gear dudes, I think they just do a texture recolor. I think that's what they do, where they have their different color types. But if you wanted something like a different costume, it's like that's going to be like 2 months of modeling. And that might sound crazy. You might go, 2 months? Oh, well, this video I watched on YouTube does it. They did it in 18 hours. So what's the deal? And it's like, well, you haven't seen how Arc System Works model. They take longer than that to do their characters. And that's why it took me so long to do Gabby's model. And that's why it would take a lot longer to do skins. Not just to model them, but to rig them, to animate them. Because if you do anything with cloth, like if I wanted to give Gabby a cape or a hat or what have you, that you have to add more bones to the rig so that the cloth is animated. And I know what everyone's thinking. They're going to go, oh, well, why don't you just physics simulation? And no, you can't do it like that with this art style, okay? If you want to do the limited animation, intentional art style, where the animation is flawless, you can't do this simulation nonsense, okay? You can't do it. It doesn't work with the look. If you want to know why, go and watch a Dylan Goo video and you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll notice it if you pay attention to... Well, there was some Dylan Goo video, I remember. This was like a year ago, we watched it and we went by frame and we noticed when they had used cloth sim and it ruined it. I don't know what it was called. It was some girl with a bakery thing and she was running away from a lot of robots and the robots were animated on 2s, but the cloth was animated on 1s and it completely threw me off. So you can't... That's why it's a lot of work, okay? If it was any other art style, it would be fine. But because of the one I've chosen, it's not as simple. So that's why there has to be really a good reason. So I don't know, maybe if like... I guess that's why a lot of people do it for like they do like a crowdfunding goal for that sort of thing. And that would make it more sensible. But I don't have such an abundant funding supply for that right now. So... I don't want to say that that's and unless that changes, then it's not. I don't think it's a priority for me. Okay, I think the hair. It's just this little fold. The little thing here. I just got to get that right. Yeah, there we go. Kind of like this, because it kind of folds. I don't know why I drew it with a fold, but it does look kind of cool. And maybe another one here. We'll make this a bit thinner. There we go. Yeah, nice. Now, this took it took a long time to sketch, but we'll use this as a base for the final anyway. Does this look? Hold on a sec. I gotta rotate. Hold on a minute. Hold on a second here. Let's get the original. I gotta look at the original Soylent here. His neck. Okay, there is something I do gotta fix up real quick with his neck. His torso has to be kind of rotated slightly here. So I'll move that up. Because the torso has to be, his neck has to be there, and he has to have a shoulder kind of visible. Can I see the... Okay, the rest of the original image kind of cuts off there, doesn't it? I use the guides of that singlet, maybe I can find where his other shirt, because it has to look, his head has to look like it's attached to something at the right angle for this to work. Okay, almost. Then I'll get into the suit. I just got to get this right. And then we'll chuck in some color and I'll see what you guys think. Yeah, this actual dude in the original is well, more muscular than my character. Wow, what a surprise! A grown man is more muscular than a boy. What crazy. But just hold on. I gotta get a feel for it because he's sort of like this. This shoulder is here. Something about the neck. I gotta move the neck just over a little. Okay, let me just do some scaffolding real quick. Because the shoulder kind of, yeah, goes up like that. You know, it'd be really funny. I probably actually could use this in the game even, funny enough. That actually might come in handy. If there's some kind of moment that happens and Felix, I just thought of the perfect moment to use this. Oh, I can't. Do I want to? No, I don't know if I want to tell you. Maybe, I don't know. Should I? Oh, I feel like I can't do that to you guys. I can't get excited over an idea and not share it. So like, with the characters, there is something I am trying to do where it's like, Felix kind of adores Gabby and looks up to her, right? And there's a moment I've been trying to write where it's like, I want to build up this aura for Gabby. And Felix is kind of like, becomes like the adoring fan from Oblivion, you know? And I just realized I could use this thumbnail sketch right here for a lot of for moments like that where she does something and Felix's reaction to whatever Gabby does is like this soy, like, oh my God, like that kind of, that would actually work so well. I just realized. God, that would be funny. Literally, sneezes. Felix is like, oh my God, that cat girl did something cool. Oh my God. Like that's the kind of, I want to have a bit of that going on with it because it's funny and it's also, well, there's more to it than it just being funny, but all you need to know right now is that it'll be funny. It's just this neck, because the actual original reference, you don't see the side of the neck. And I think it's maybe the neck's too long. Maybe that's what. Here we go. Yes, this is the right. I had the shoulder too low. There we go. Okay, now, okay. Now I think I'm actually happy. So, I gotta position him just so, and his little. I gotta just adjust his shoulder here a bit. Yeah. And I don't know what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'll get some colors. Okay, we'll get some colors. We'll just see if the roughing out of it looks cool enough. I reckon this will be it though, but we'll just do a rough color and then we'll start. I gotta start doing we'll go to Gabby and we'll do like a nice non-chicken scratch to nice render. Now, Felix's colors. Get the full opacity back. Alt palettes would be good for getting achievements and challenges. Yeah. I think I might have read that one already. Will the game have achievements? I don't know how to code achievements right now, but it is something I have on the list of stuff I want to figure out. I don't think it's that hard. See, because I don't want to. Here's what I don't want to do. I don't want to say yes, realize that it's actually really complicated, and go, you know what? Actually, the game is fun without achievements, and then break a promise. That's what I'm trying to avoid saying. All I will say is that I want to, but I have not, in the slightest, looked into it yet. That's probably something I'll do around near the end. And I didn't even have the demo yet, and there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do. The demo's getting worked on. I then got to make sure that, you know, people are, like, I'm telling people what's going on. Got to keep the audience happy. And, yeah, there's a lot going on. But the demo it's coming. It's piecing. It's definitely, I think, now becoming the game it was supposed to. The game I intended. That magic word. Now, as I'm doing the coloring, we'll get into the suit, I guess. Thanks for waiting, Gilligan. Because, you know, I'm starting to think... Well, where do I want to begin? So I think when I started the first episode, devlog 1, and I think, Gilligan, sounds like you're pretty up-to-date with it, but maybe some of you haven't watched that one in a while. I remember I wanted to give Gabby armor because it looked cool. That was literally it. And I think the first concept art was a full body Halo suit. And then somehow over time I like reduced it to just the legs. Because it would look, I think the full body suit looked a little too masculine and like shooter game-esque. And as the mechanics were leaning away from being a shooter and more towards a platformer, I was like, okay, this is going to be too heavy to platform in. I got to debulk this. So I took off the top armor piece and just left the legs because I thought, well, the armored legs look cool and it'd be nice if she had like protection over the... Actually, you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to color pick from this Marucho and see what... Because I've noticed that the colors I used to pick for skin and all that, this when I drew the original, I've changed how I've picked colors now. There's a different system. But I'm going to just quickly borrow Marucho's colors here, because I've just realized it's the same palette. Actually, mostly, except he uses blue where I use green. But I'm going to try this for the hair. Anyway, so the suit was kind of a combination of being a Crysis and Halo fan, where I really liked the armor in those games, and especially in Crysis, the way they treat the suit I just thought was cool, where it's like... become the what's the thing they use, the tagline, the prey becomes the hunter, something like that. And it's like the power fantasy of being the ultimate soldier and having this epic suit. And I just thought I was like, oh, that's cool, and I wanted to give Gabby something like that. And then I had this very early story draft where none of these other characters existed, and Gabby had a biological sister that is dead now. Well, it doesn't exist anymore, erased from the canon, but she had it was basically the Mirror's Edge plot that I didn't realize it was the Mirror's Edge plot at the time, because I hadn't played Mirror's Edge. And then I played it and I was like, oh, damn it. The story I was going to do is just Mirror's Edge, and actually the story kind of sucks. So I dropped that whole idea, and I think it was that, yeah, the sister would give Gabby the suit at the start of the game, sister would get kidnapped, you have to save her. But... you see, the thing that story idea lacked was intentionality, because I actually did come up with it in 15 minutes, actually. I remember a friend had challenged me. It's like, oh, you want to make a story for your game? Well, you've got 15 minutes. Just draw a storyboard right now, and that'll be a story. That's what I did. And, well, yeah, obviously it sucked, because I only spent 15 minutes on it. But the... Okay, these actually, I don't like these colors too much on Felix. Whatever. I'm just gonna, because this is just meant to be a draft for the color. So I'll just pick the more paler tone right now. It's just that there isn't enough contrast with the hair. That bothers me. Anyway, so and then the sister had gone away, but the suit was still kind of just on her character design, and I never touched it, really. I just kind of kept it there. I redesigned the suit a few times to simplify it, but I never questioned, like, keeping it there. And the tricky... And, well, my attitude about the suit has changed over time. I don't think I hadn't really given it... I had never given it an official name. I just called it the Feline suit because I didn't know what else to call it. But its importance is not as much as it was at that time. I'm finding that the characters are a lot more important than the suit. So that's why I kind of stopped paying attention to the suit and focused more on the cast and their conflicts and their struggles and what's going to happen. And then I kind of didn't really need to think about the suit anymore, so I just haven't really thought about it. But I don't know, maybe there is maybe a thing to it I could still use it for. But I was thinking about it yesterday, and I wrote it down, but I don't know if I want to tell people yet what I might use it for. But, you know, it's certainly, I don't think it's going to be I found that there is a way cooler hook to me than the tool, and that's than the suit, and that's the person inside it. That's the character. Yuan says, not joking, I'm an Aussie lover. Love Aussie art. Let me make tryouts. Okay, just chill, okay? I appreciate when people offer to help, but look, every time I've done it, it just hasn't worked. And I'm doing okay at the moment, so I just want to just maintain a steady course. I appreciate it though. But I would recommend do not do I don't know. I have had a lot of people write to me with similar stuff about let me do free work, please. Don't do that. I would recommend, if you're an artist that is serious, I don't know, man. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I remember someone asked me this once a few months ago, and I had a really good like explanation of it. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was with voice acting, I remember. Yeah, because I don't know, like this happens kind of all the time. I get written a lot about voice act, the people that do voice acting, and they say like, oh, I really want to voice act in the game, and what do they say usually? It's like that, but then they'll offer, it's like, oh, you don't have to pay me, I'll just do it for free. And it's like, no, you won't. You will not do it for free. If you respect yourself, you respect your time, you're not going to work for free. If you're serious, you're not doing it for free. And I know you want to do it for free, but you don't want to do it for free. Trust me, you don't want to do it. Do it for free for you. Do your own stuff for free. Don't do stuff for other people for free. It never works. And I know that sounds mean. I'm not trying to be like dismissive. It's just because I've seen it happen. I've just seen it happen a lot. And I know I've noticed a pattern of behavior whenever that ends up going on. And it usually is so tempting. And it's like, oh my goodness, someone's offering me free work. That's amazing. But it's like it's well-intentioned though. That's the thing. This is the thing I got to be careful with, is that I know that it's well-intentioned. No one ever wants to cause problems. Okay, I get it. But I've just noticed, even when the intentions are purest, when you get someone doing stuff for free, it just never works. You can't reason your way out of it. I don't like. There's a lot of compounding reasons for it. But if you were that good, you would not have to do that. You would be getting paid work already. So look for people that are willing to pay you. Look for people that value you. Don't just do free stuff. Because people that will take you up on it don't value you. If they did, they'd be paying you. And again, this is different if you're doing it for you. It's different rules. If this is your own, this is why for me it's different. For me, I am definitely not making as much as I could be if I was working for other people. But that punishment of lack of reward I can take because this is for me. And it's like, there is a reward in this for me beyond a monetary one. And I don't know, I just noticed that isn't the case if it's not yours. I've just noticed that. So it's not that I don't appreciate when people offer it, and I know that it's well-intentioned and you want to help, but you really should be helping you. You shouldn't be trying to help me. If you help yourself, and if just, it'll be better. You'll be better off spending that time not offering yourself for free, I think. That's what I would say. And I know that sounds dismissive and harsh. It's not intended to be discouraging. It's just that there are consequences when people think it's free, and it's like, oh, it's free, there's no consequences, it's cheap. But it's like, no, there is a price you're paying still. It's just that you don't see it, but there is a price. And for me, I don't know, I just find it better when I do stuff. I can the price of lack of reward, it's serious stuff. I know people initially, they always say that, oh no, that's fine, but it's like, no, it isn't. And you know it isn't. It's just you don't have the self-confidence to acknowledge it, I found. That's just what I don't know. I just notice this a lot, especially with younger artists. I just see this a lot. So this is not trying to be a judgmental thing. It's just, if this is you, watch out. Just watch out. Don't feel so compelled to work for someone that you would forego what you're owed. Because I just know, because while I might not be the guy to do it, someone will take advantage of that. Absolutely. If you think that won't happen, you are naive. And that's not an insult. It's just what it is. So just wise up. That's all I'm trying to say. I do appreciate it, but you're basically saying, please take advantage of me. And no, I'm not doing that to you. I know you want me to do that to you, but I'm not doing it. I just don't agree with it. I know you want to work on it. I know you want to help, but I just don't. That's not the right way. You should be doing that on your own. You should be working for free for your own stuff, basically. Anyway, what do we reckon of this? Let me get the background back on. Now, for the color, for the background, let me get some quick color in here. Let me get some of this. Yo. So I'm going to do something like orange. That's what I'm thinking. I know that Felix looks a bit desaturated. I'll have to pick out better colors. Don't worry, we'll do that. But here's... there's a certain shade of reddish orange, I'm thinking. Yes, there we go. And then we're going to have... all right. And of course, we're going to have the... Just roughing it out. Got to have the white YouTuber outline, of course. Got to have that. Or maybe I'll do the soft glow. I think I'm actually starting to find I prefer soft glows rather than the YouTube thumbnail outline. But we'll just do the outline for the moment. What do we reckon of this, fellas? So we have let me group those. We got Felix, and then we got actually, I think I don't need to ask this question. I think I know which one I like better. Calder looks so confused. Oh my goodness. But then you got Felix here. He looks like, dude, yeah, the Felix he's the one. He looks like the kind of guy that would, oh my God, Gabby's using Unreal. Oh my goodness. That's what Felix could be saying right now. You know what? Actually, finishing touch on this little draft. We gotta do the stars. We gotta get these stars. Yeah, baby. Let's get it. Yeah. How's that? Actually, it kind of looks like is that like the Swedish flag? Hold on a second, guys. Did I just accidentally make a flag? There's a flag that looks like this. Yeah, it's the Swedish flag. Did I just accidentally make, hold on. It doesn't look like a star. I don't know. So let me minimize. Let me get all the Soylent out of the way here. I think I can close this.
I'm not offering Shyet for free, man. The amount of content you want to deliver doesn't look realistic. I want to make money with your project.
I appreciate that, but it's not yours, okay? Make money with your project, all right? You'll be, trust me. And I don't know, maybe this isn't, like, it depends on the personality. That's what I was saying before. It depends on the personality. Well, you haven't seen everything. I think, look, there's a plan. I'm getting through it. It will work. I know it will work. I know what won't work is what I tried doing last time, which was hiring people, trying to avoid responsibility and giving it to other people. You need to be a specific kind of person to do that, okay? And I'm not that guy. I am not like the other part of it is that you don't want to work for me because I know how to do things myself. I don't know how to get you to do it. And that's not because you're bad or whatever. It's not the point. It's the point is that whether it's whatever thing, if something goes wrong, it's my game and it is my fault. And I've just noticed that when you try to delegate responsibilities to people, people just don't take it seriously. And that's not everybody, but I know that now that I've done it once, I know that I have to basically, if I want to do it that way, I can't do anything myself anymore, and I have to delegate it, and then I become a manager, which I am not good at. So I know it's a better use of my time for me to do the things I'm already doing that I'm already good at. See, like this thumbnail, right? I can draw, okay? Most people can't draw and program and model and all that. So this doesn't apply to most people, okay? So I know that most people don't look at it like this. But it's, but I'm weird, okay? I'm one of these weird people. I don't know how to get other people to do stuff, but I know how to do stuff myself. So I'm just going to do that. And that's why you don't want to work on my project. But if you are like me, though, and because I don't know how to think like people that aren't me. I don't know, maybe I don't know. I haven't met anyone else that thinks this way. So it's hard for me to know how to manage other people because I know they don't think like me. So, but if you're one of the people that does kind of think like me, you will not be wanting to work for free for people, and you will not be wanting to help. You'll be doing your own thing already. So that's, and I understand that. I don't understand the opposite though. And because of that, I will not make a good manager. We already saw what happened last time. Last time that happened, it wasted thousands of dollars, months of time. Yes, the guy doing it wasn't good, but I also, I know that a different person would have been able to fix that problem, even if the guy doing the work, even if the guy doesn't know how to name the files or whatever. Someone who is more managerial will know how to handle that. And that person is not me. And I know that. I know myself. And I know that that isn't who I am, and that's not who I want to be. And that's fine. And I've just seen as well because I know exactly the fear. This is fear. I know that I've seen this. A lot of people are really afraid to like spend time on stuff, I've noticed. And I've seen people, because this is why I did it initially. When I did that video of like, oh, I'll just hire people and do things for me and it'll work. I did that because I was afraid of what you just said here. I think my YouTube chat's frozen. Whatever you said about the workload or whatever. Being, oh my God, it's too much work. Like I was afraid of that. And I was like, oh, I'm so afraid. I'm going to, and I took that up and I tried doing that advice. I tried it. But I don't know. There's just something about when you do it from a place of fear, it doesn't work. And I'm trying to, because I know there's more to it than this, of course. I don't know how to word it. But I have seen other people do the same, actually, and they did the opposite of what I did, where it's like they were terrified of the task. They then became the manager type. They suppressed their actual skill and they stopped doing things, and they hired they got a whole group of people. They had like 15 people. I've seen stories of this happen where they then get a whole 15 people, even though they're actually pretty good on their own. But because they're afraid, they do this, and then they actually just end up being a mediocre manager, and the game takes even longer because that person is not meant to be a manager, but they are in self-denial. And they're like, no, I can't do this. I suck. I can't do anything. I need to hire other people, and I have to make myself into a manager. And the thing is that is true sometimes. There are people that are good at being managers, but you have to really know who you are to know if that's you. And I know that isn't me. I know that I thrive doing what the other people are afraid to do. But it's the opposite. There isn't like a right or wrong thing here, by the way. This isn't like some kind of dichotomy. It's just there is a style. Some people can do good at once. Some people are good soloists. Some people are good in an ensemble. That's all there is to it. The reason why I don't like... I'm no interest in bringing people on is because I am not a conductor. I am a soloist. And you just go watch the Just Hire More Devs video and you will see it. You'll see it and you'll realize, man, okay, I don't want to work for this guy, which is the right response. And and I don't want to manage people. So that's all there is to it. So yeah, and I'm not trying to sound dismissive. I do appreciate it. It's just that, that's just the reality of it, right? As much as you want to, it's tempting to get kind of, I'm just trying to reopen YouTube chat because it's crashed. But look, I've got the scars to know what I have to do. I have just because I'm not sharing all of it doesn't mean I don't know what's going on and what I have to do. And there's, where did it go? The live dashboard has just vanished. Chat keeps crashing. You think with the amount of employees Google has, they'd make a functioning live chat. Hold on a second. It's almost reloaded. There we go. Yuan says, I never work for free and I'm already... and now I'm seeing all your messages. Never work for free, I'm already doing my own thing? Good. Just keep doing your own thing and you'll be fine. I don't know why you want to even help me. You know what I mean? So yeah. You should... I don't know, because I've always found... I don't know. I guess I'll just keep it... I'll just put it at that. Because I've just seen it. Because there are people that... there are stories that you guys probably haven't seen. Because, there are people that I know that have tried doing this, that have failed, that none of you have heard of. You will never hear of them ever, because they failed, okay? And they did this sort of stuff. It's just nobody online, no one ever finds these examples. The survivorship bias, they get buried. They aren't at either extreme, these people, where they end up at the top or the bottom. They end up in the middle where no one notices. And I am lucky that I have at times met people that are in that middle ground, and I've seen them do this thing. It's the same. It's that sort of reasoning, and it's just something I think ought to be avoided, if possible. So, not to say that whatever that whole plan, some people are good at doing that. Some people that's good. It's just not me. But yeah, what do we reckon of the? I might have to change the color of the stars. I can't look at it and not think of the Swedish flag. Can I make money on your project too? Well, look, just make money with your own thing. Is it that hard? I don't know. It is hard. It is hard, but it's more rewarding, okay? And look, my project is not making enough money for you to also make money off it, okay? I'm barely making enough on it. So, you should be trying to compete with me, not help me. That's what the real masterminds, that's what they're doing. Maybe change the sparkles? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. The color or the shape? Color or the shape, do you think? Last bit is real good thumbnail. Thanks, Jaheem. Would Felix ever be playable? No. No, dude. No. No. Now that would be too much work. See, this is why, I don't know. I think... yes, making a game is a lot of work, but if you resist temptations like those... of making skins and making everything playable, that work starts to become a lot simpler. You know what I mean? The task becomes less small when you don't give in to those temptations of wanting to make every character playable and what have you. So no, the characters do serve a purpose, but they are not going to be playable. If I wanted to make them playable, well, then I would be screwed, wouldn't I? Then it's like, oh, right, well, now this is actually too much work. Because then I have to spend 4 months making another high-quality model for... And, I think, that's going too far, I think. What layer did I even... Hold on, what layer did I put the sparkles on? Oh, I put them on this layer. I don't know why did I do that? Smallest, yeah. Perhaps. We'll give that a shot. Yo. Let me just, there we go. Make another layer for the stars. I might try white. No, it's too much, too much. Jaheim says, no one cares about the stories of those who never made it, despite those oftentimes having the most important lessons. Man, what a sentence. Yeah, man. That is, you know, there's some, yeah. There was something I wanted to say about that. That is very true. I guess the challenge is finding, what would you call, the ones that don't make it, because you don't, the fact that they haven't made it makes them hard to find. So that's why you can't spend all day on YouTube. That's because I've done this. I know it might look like I spend all day on YouTube, but before I did Project Feline, I spent like years around other developers, and I saw, well, there was how many years was it? It might have been like 4 years I spent around and studying, not the craft necessarily. I mean, I was doing that, but I was studying everyone else, what they were doing. And you have not heard of any of them. There's a reason why. And it's, I think a lot of the time, what's the foundation? Why hasn't that been the case? What's happened with it, really? I think a lot of the time, it's when people don't know themselves well enough to make the right choices. And, I think what I was just talking about before there is an example of that. I know that the wrong choice for me is becoming a middleman manager. I know that that's the wrong choice for me. But I think a lot of the people I studied with didn't know themselves well enough to know if that was them. And I think some of them, what would happen is they would end up doing that, and it happened to be the right choice by accident. And that's cool. But if you were not lucky, that's the people that say, oh, it just got lucky. It was just luck. And it's like, well, was it? You know? Was it? Thanks, Juan, again for the 1,000 Rs.
Love you, man. Love what you are doing. Didn't want to make it weird. Was a sincere giving you a hand. I'm a UE5 dev and I'm very aware of the challenges that you are going through, like fucking animation BPs and people is asking for skins lol.
Well, thanks, man. Look, I appreciate it's just because I get this asked a lot. So if that came off as a rant, it wasn't meant to. It's just because I get asked it all the time, and I've thought about it a lot. And I don't know. I like to see the fact that I'm so direct I think is another reason why people don't like me. You know what I mean? So, but I appreciate it, dude. But even that, I'm not really too bothered by people wanting skins. You know, it's whatever. It's I don't know. It's, yeah, but look, I get it's a sincere giving a hand. I appreciate it. It's just, you need more than sincerity. There's a lot more to it. And I have to be sincere as well. And I can tell you sincerely right now, I am not the hand you want to be helping, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? The attitude, if you really kind of want to know what I'm thinking, like honestly, if you want to know what I'm thinking, I'm of the belief that for some people, and this won't be everybody, but I know that some people are just better kind of actually doing what looks like the hard thing. And I think the hard thing to a lot of people is doing everything. I mean, it sounds pretty overwhelming, right? I think maybe that's the perspective because again, I'm just trying to infer from your messages here. Because it sounds like it's coming from oh my God, you have so much to do. There's so many challenges. I look at that and go, hell yeah, good. I like that. I'm not terrified of the amount of work because I know that there's a certain mode you get into at some point where that doesn't bother you, if that makes sense. And I just knew a couple years ago, I knew that I hadn't reached that gear yet, and I was very much susceptible and wanting to delegate and wanting to, let the helping hands in, right? And it's not to say that it's not the helping hands that are bad, okay? It's not that. That's not what I'm saying. It's that you have to accept the helping hands for the right reasons. You have to be the right guy. And I think maybe I might have said this already, but the reason why for me it is not the right thing is because when I did do it and when I have considered doing it, it's been out of that same fear of being afraid of challenge and the work, and wanting it to go by easier. That's kind of where that desire comes from, right? And it's like, well, you want it to be easier on you. But the pressure that comes with being an effective manager, I found to be more challenging than the pressure of doing it myself. But that's just me, though. That's just some people.
I'm sure that you can do it on your own, but I've been working on teams lately and there is something there.
Maybe there is. But like, that isn't all. That's the good teams. You know, you see what I'm trying to say? A lot of teams just suck, okay? That might not be the team you're doing, okay? That might not be. But in my experience, I've not found a good team. Now, there are skills you can implement to attract a good team. I don't have those. I don't know what those are. I could luck it out, and I could be like, oh, let's try this out, and like not just try to do it on luck. Most of the time, well, that doesn't work. You just don't hear about them. I think, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. Have you looked at, have you ever read Carl Jung at all? I'm curious. I think it would make more sense, because this is the reason, because most people I've talked to have no idea who Carl Jung is. They haven't read psychology or whatever. They haven't read this. And that's kind of, I think, what makes it a different. That's what makes me not good for this. I'm just trying to figure out the simple way to explain it. I don't know if I can explain it verbally, but I just know it. Carl Jung is crazy. Well, if you know what to look for, it actually is quite sensible. He represents to me a difference between, there are two kinds of people I've noticed. There are perceivers and intuitives, or what would you call sensors, like not sensors as in censorship, but sensors as in people who sense, and intuitives. When you understand actually, and you internalize, you read about it. I'm not going to go in and explain all of it, but if you internalize that concept, what I'm saying will make more sense. You'll realize that there is a huge difference between sensors and intuitives, and that some of the characteristics of the intuitives do not make any sense to sensors. So that's why probably what I'm doing seems deranged, because I'm an intuitive. I'm not a sensor. And I think to someone who is a sensor, which is, I think, a lot of people, I know a lot of sensors, and they're very good at perceiving data from the outside world and all that stuff. There's a bit more, there's a lot to it. But I think if I had to imagine, it's when you're a sensor, it is harder to know these things about you. And then a lot of times you don't have to. And that's the brilliant thing about sensors, is that they don't really have to think about it the way I'm thinking about it. Because they will just look at the data. They're the people that look at the data. That's those sorts of people. They look at the metrics and the data and they go, oh, well, this is better when I do this, so therefore whatever. And it works for the sensors, but if you're an intuitive, you don't look at the world like that. It's very different. Anyway, that's such a, whoa, that's a cavern of a topic. Okay, so I don't have time to go into all of it, but... And I do actually have to get going soonish. So maybe we'll wrap up on this, and then I gotta go eat, and then I'm gonna keep working on this off stream. But I think we got a good concept here going. I think I'm liking this. But as I was saying, there is something about teams, but all of those people have to be the right people, and I know I'm not that person. That's just what I know.
It's not about psychology to me. Making a game is like making a chair. Are you a good woodworker? I know you are, because you built all this thing about your game.
Well, thank you. And this is how I know you're not an intuitive. Because there is more to making a good chair than woodworking. There is a lot more to it. That's partly what this video is about. Actually, this was great to bring up. Because this thumbnail, this video I'm about to release today, is talking about this thing. So, I don't know, it might not make sense to a lot of people, but there is a lot more to making a good chair than just woodworking. You have to be, how do I word it? It's because there are people that are good woodworkers. They're good for different reasons. And some chairs that get made, some are really well designed, some are not. Some are very expensive. Some have like lots of flourishes and flavor. Some chairs are very cheap and forgettable, but they're still chairs. Like I'm trying to figure out how to tie this into what what I'm seeing here is very different. It's not, it's deeper than woodworking. Because to be a good woodworker, there is a lot of psychology to that. This is how I know that this, because I think intuitives, they look at it like this. Intuitives will see that there is quite a lot of psychology to having the right attitude to be a good woodworker. And I think people that are not intuitive and are more senses, I think, woodworkers would be like that because they work with their hands a lot, right? That's why I'm actually quite clumsy. I'm very bad with working with my hands unless it's drawing. If it's anything else, I'm terrible at it. That's kind of a symptom. But it's, I think teams I've found are comprised, what makes a good team is a lot of extroverts and a lot of sensors and some kind of, what would you call it? There has to be some kind of force in there managing it. And when you actually study what's going on beyond the woodworking, to run a good ship and to run a good team, that is psychology. You can't just have hard skills to run a good team. And if you think that's the case, it's because that you already have you've already worked it out without realizing you have. You've already got the right default preferences or whatever it is. You've just so happened to luck into having the right attitude to working with the team without having to consciously think about it. And that's really great. But that is not everybody. So I think that's what makes it hard, I think, for a lot of people to get. I haven't worked out, this is a very convoluted way of explaining it, so I apologize if this doesn't make sense, but I have just observed it. I don't know, there's probably someone that explains it way better than I can. But, there is evidence, even if you think that, what was it? Let me just read this again so I don't get too off track. You see this thing here, what you said. You can do it on your own, but. See, with people like me, there's no but, okay? It's just that you can do it on your own. I don't know how to explain to you what the difference there is, but,
I think you are an artist. And when you are making art is like doing a chair.
It can be. But not everyone treats it like that, I've noticed. Some people, they treat it like making IKEA furniture. Not everybody, but look, I just trust me, okay? I know I can do this. I know that, well, you know what, because I think me trying to explain what works for me is not going to help. I think maybe a more productive thing, if you're interested in what I'm trying to get a spotlight on here, I would look at yourself for a minute, just when you're working in your team, and start to try and notice the thing that's going on beyond the woodworking, if you want to call it that. Think about the little things you might take for granted that you don't realize are happening that make you an effective team member or something, and you will realize that not everyone has those innately. Or look at your manager or whatever, and you'll start noticing these things that are beyond the woodworking. I'm just using that as beyond the work. Woodworking I'm just using it as a colorful metaphor here. Some like IKEA, some are handcrafted. It depends on the art. Yes, it does. It does depend on the artist quite a bit. But yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't say, because I get where this is coming from. This is like concern over scale. There's a reason why I'm not worried. I am not worried about the scale, because I guess what I try to say in this video, the video talks about trying to get people to see what's beneath the tools. When you go beyond this, though, this is the part that isn't in the video, is that if you're, if you're, I don't know how to word it. See, this is why intuitives have this problem where they are terrible at explaining things, which is why you don't want me as a boss, because if I try to tell you what to do, I'm not going to be able to explain it. I will be able to make it myself and show you. I won't be able to explain it in a brief. And I know that because when I did that last time, that didn't work. And anyway, what was the point I was making? When you kind of actualize and know who you are, And if in particular you are the guy that kind of is better off on his own, which is not, I think it's not most people. I think it is not everybody, which is why I'd imagine a lot of people do look at this and look at it weirdly and go, what? But no, there are some people that are better off doing that. And you know that that's the case because the actual challenge of the work, see, the scale, I don't feel intimidated or scared by it. I used to, but I don't anymore. The reason is because the work while I'm there doing it is, there's a way I think about it, or what, I don't know exactly how to describe it, but there's an attitude I bring to it and a way I'm thinking. And there's something about the act of me doing it that there's no friction, you know what I mean? Like there isn't friction where I'm constant. I think that's what a lot of people do worry about. If I had to because I'm trying to really get to the bottom of what this is. I think a lot of people get so worried about scale and burnout. That's a big word I hear a lot. Burnout, worry, scale, overscoping, all these words, right? I find that those become a problem when you're meeting friction. And you usually know that's the case when you look at the work you have to do. It's so overwhelming. You're like, oh my God. And then what word is it people use? They burn out and they crash out, and it's like, oh, I've lost all my motivation and I can't do it. And it's like, I think a lot of people are, when they look at solo devs, they look at them with skepticism, because that does happen to a lot of them. And that has happened to me at times, but there is a road you can go down where that doesn't become a problem. And I don't know how to explain the characteristics of what that road looks like, but burnout just doesn't happen. That's one of the symptoms. Burnout doesn't really happen, and you don't ever feel despair. And I think the way I want to proceed is just doing that, right? Is proceeding forward, because when I'm working on stuff, I'm at peace. I'm not really worrying. I'm not, how would you say? I don't feel crushed, and I don't feel friction. I mean, I feel friction on a few things if I'm going about something the wrong way or whatever, but then I figure it out, and it just keeps going. Like, I've managed to maintain that momentum, and it's like, I think that's kind of what people get afraid of, is that they lose that momentum if they do everything themselves. And I think that is true if you don't know how to drive yourself. And the thing is that there are some people that are really good at driving a big semi-truck, and there are some people that are really good at driving a small little Toyota, which is me. I don't know how to drive a huge rig or whatever, and have like 10 like those big garbage trucks with the 3 steering wheels and the arm. Like, I don't know how to drive that, but I can drive a little Toyota, sort of. That's the equivalent of what I'm trying to say. And I think when you have someone that knows how to be them, and to how to play their own instrument, how to drive their own vehicle, whatever metaphor you want to use. I'm just trying to use a metaphor because that's the best I can do to explain it. When you know how your style and you know how to act in that style, I think that's all you have to worry about, you know? And if you try to go against that, that's when that's when hell starts breaking loose. And I think what is confusing for most people to get their head around is that for most people, that friction comes from working alone, and it gets reduced when working with others. Whereas for me, it is the opposite. And for a minority of people, it is the opposite. And I think it's better, instead of trying to force everyone to do the one style where you have to have some kind of company or whatever, just let people do things their way and it'll work. It's just, I think just people are too afraid to find out what their way is and deviate from the norm. And I think, some people that's kind of where psychology becomes, you start finding the answers quite quickly when you study that stuff. But if you are lucky, you won't have to study it. You will already know, and you will already be in a position where you don't have to worry about this. And that's good for you. You are in the top 1% and you're amazing. That's awesome. That's not most of us though, So, I don't know, does that make sense? I don't know if that makes any sense. I try not to talk about this stuff because I know that most people really don't like when I say this, but, there are some people where you just have to let them cook. And I think I think it's good to question it, though. It's good to question those people. It's good to ask me questions like that, because it's a test. You're testing, well, do they actually think they can do it? I'm going to try to plant some doubt and see if they break. And I think the people that break, that's how you know that, okay, well, they haven't compiled yet. You know what I mean? They don't know what works for them yet. And then that's what happened. It's happened to me. So that's how I know. So I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. Don't try and take this in bad faith, please. Don't clip this out of context or whatever. I'm trying my best to explain it. It is a good topic. It's just really hard to explain, because this is something that will make sense. If you think like me, if you're an intuitive, if you're an introvert, this will make sense. If you're not, which is most, I think that's basically everyone, this is going to sound like crazy, okay? It's going to sound nuts, and I know it will. But, when you just have to do what works for you. That's basically it. But yeah, back to it. Thanks. I do appreciate sincere officer support, though. It's just like, just worry about yourself. I'll be okay. I can get through it. And yeah, there are lots of ways to build a chair. Some people are really good at making the chair by themselves. Some people, not so much. It's just, But anyway, what's the time? Was there any other last minute questions? I'll answer one more question and then I'll get going. But thanks so much for the support. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 super chats from you. Thanks so much. Whoa, didn't mean to hit my mic there. We love you. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, most importantly, love what you're doing. Love yourself. It's cool to admire what other people are doing, but I would say if it's to the point where you're worrying about me, I think don't worry. Just look at your own thing, and I'll worry about my stuff. I'll get through it. Gilligan says, I have one, but not a question, more an idea. Cool idea on why Gabby has the legs could be that she takes them from the full suit. She wanted the full thing, but then guards start chasing her and she only managed to get the legs part. Well, that would be a lot to do. I think, if I had 20 people maybe, but I don't think that is something, I have another idea. Thanks, one, Phil, again. Stop apologizing, okay? You're fine, okay? You don't have to keep apologizing. You haven't been a dick, though. No, I don't think that. I'm glad when people ask me this, because it gives me a chance to kind of sort of show my hand on what I'm thinking. And I don't know, maybe some of you might relate. A lot of you probably won't, and you probably will disagree, and that's fine. But some of you might relate to it, and maybe some of you will notice that and go, oh, well, actually, what Ray's saying, that's literally me, for real. And then maybe you'll think that, and then maybe you might start looking into the stuff I've looked into and find your path, if that makes sense. It won't be exactly like mine, but that's what I try to do. I try to turn this, whenever I get asked that sort of stuff, I try to turn it into an opportunity to do it. So, yeah. But I appreciate the care and people's enthusiasm. I appreciate that, though. I'm not saying that you're bad for questioning this. That's not what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that's as well, because then people will start thinking it's like some kind of adversarial thing. This is how I know that my interpersonal skills are terrible and why I'd make a terrible boss. So that's how I know. Okay. But I appreciate it. I appreciate you for asking that, and for patiently listening to me try and reason this out. Not worried about me? Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that too. But yeah, we'll make it, guys. It's going to happen. It just takes the one resource that is the most scary to spend, and that is time. But, what else are you going to do? Watch TV? So, but yeah, for the suit thing, it's... For things like that, that's a cool idea to pick apart, because I think it may be, I don't know if any of you listening have kind of registered with what I've said, and you've had something click in your head where it's like, maybe I could do a game myself, but not in like a arrogant way, but in a, oh, actually I would enjoy doing that, over the opposite. If you've had that thought, you will have a lot of ideas like this of What if you did the thing where she steals the suit or something? Like, you will have a lot of ideas like that. A good thing to think about if that's you is to think about, well, what is the intention of that idea? What is the idea saying, and can you simplify it? So I'm curious what gave you that idea, Gilligan? Is that a kind of like what am I asking here? What kind of effect or feeling are you seeing in that idea of like her stealing the suit, or she takes it from a full set? Because maybe there's something you see in it beneath those details that is saying something. And I don't think I see it, but maybe you see it. But when I look at my own ideas, because I know I've had this issue a lot where there's been ideas that have just kind of overcomplicated over time. And the thing that's helped me kind of not have that problem, because then you got to think, if you want to have a scene like that, right? This is what I mean. Because if you're a solo dev and you get ideas like that, it becomes unfeasible, because if you want to have that, you got to program guards. You then got to program a sequence and a full suit. You got to then make an extra bit of model for the full suit. You then got to have the scene where she steals it, and that's expensive. That starts to add up, and it's like you're doing all this effort for what? To achieve what? What thing are people going to look at this scene and come away with? What is it it's saying? And you say because you saw the concept art. Okay. Well, I don't know. Because I do have a lot of scrapped concept art and stuff I've just thrown out, and it's I don't know. Like if you have a similar idea of that in your own thing, or if I was to consider an idea like that, that's the kind of questions I would ask. Is, well, does she need a full suit? Does she need to be chased? What is the suit? That's something I've even called into question as well, because I had the suit there from the concepts, but when I look at it now, it's like, well, actually, does she need it? Like, what purpose is this thing serving? At the moment, it's serving an aesthetic purpose, which is good. Does it need to serve a greater purpose than that is a question worth asking as well. And maybe there is a case to be made for it, maybe not. Maybe it doesn't need to, and then you can just have it as the character's skin, and you might not have to explain it, and you can let people come up with their own thing, maybe. And then if you do something like that, you've all of a sudden created 6 months less work for yourself. You kind of judo thrown it and turned it into the imagination. Like that's sort of what I mean. That's the kind of way you have to think as a solo dev. You start looking at ideas like that, and it makes the work less terrifying when you do stuff like that, I've noticed. Could be the standard uniform, maybe. Cybershell says, I plan to have a team, and when I have money to burn, tax write-offs. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, concept art is not fun. That's the thing. One thing I do kind of regret about sharing concept art is that people do, it's because concept, I don't know, it's very easy to get kind of, especially because when I was drawing that concept art, I had a lot of ideas for them, and it can get quite tempting to get romantic over an idea and to, there's a more deliberation. I don't know, this is something I'll probably have to make a video about at some point later, but there is a lot to knowing what to put in, to what to make things about. You have to really deliberately, like, you have to basically have a court trial in your head and like do a whole Saul Goodman thing of whether something should happen in the game or something. I've found that's how I tend to think about things. So, the thing is, the weakness that I have is that I tend to be very bad at ideating, because I will be too judgmental on them too quickly. So that's kind of a thing I guess you have to learn to balance out. But yeah, Gilligan likes giving ideas. Well, yeah, that's good. It's good that you have a lot of imagination. But yeah, I had that same kind of attitude starting all that concept art you probably would have seen. But one thing I've had to learn to do over time is to forge it, if you could say. Take the imagination, put it into the fire, and like smith it. You know what I mean? And it means I don't have as much cool ideas, but I think the ideas I try to use they're more kind of deliberate and they become less work in the future type thing. It's a whole different thing, but that's something that will maybe happen to you someday or whatever. It's an interesting thing to look at, actually. If you're, because I know that maybe you're an ideas guy. I've met a lot of ideas guys. I was an ideas guy. And I think the best way to be an ideas guy is to to start doing that process where you have the kind of jury trial in your brain, deliberating over a detail or an idea or something. It makes ideas much higher quality and it's quite fun. But yeah, because I know what it's like to have ideas. It's very fun. But sadly, a lot of the ideas I've had for the game I probably won't do. But it means that the ones I will do will hopefully be the ones that matter, if you know what I mean. Gilligan says, I think my ideas are good, but for someone else it could be terrible. That's why feedback is important. That's true. I think also kind of seeing what's underneath the idea, I think is interesting. Like you look at the idea and go, like even the thing I said, this will be my last little bit and then I gotta go. But the whole thing with Felix being this kind of wide-eyed, sort of like the joke I made about him reacting this way about everything Gabby does, it sounds like a spur of the moment thing, right? But the reason I had that idea is because there's a lot of like documentation I've done on these characters, not like GDD stuff, but just crafting the soul of a character or something. And you might look at an idea like that, and when you peel back the surface of Felix being this like over the top, like wow, I can't believe you. Like when you peel that off and you look at what's underneath, you start seeing a lot, and it's like, well, what does that say about Felix? What purpose is that serving? And it's like, well, maybe there's something about Felix's character he needs to develop. Maybe he's far too trusting. Maybe he's clingy. Maybe he's, and there's a lot of things you can start to piece together that fit to that might give you something that bubbles to the surface, like this kind of idea, where where this expression would suit him very well. And I don't know, it's a different pedigree of thinking. I don't know how to explain it, but it's because I don't know, maybe if you've had this, Gilligan, but when my imagination was more active, it was hard to know what to do with all the ideas I had. You just have ideas all the time for everything, and if you're working alone, you can't really do that. So you gotta start to like peel back stuff.
Man, but you are doing the script, the characters, the art.
Yep.
This people is asking you do immaculate level design and character movement stuff also?
Yep. And I'm going to do it. And I want to do it all. It's awesome. And I know that, yeah. But you know what I can't do? I don't know how to get other people to do that. I don't know how to explain to someone exactly how I want it done. I don't know how to make the perfect document. Whatever it is. Like I've tried it. I don't know, like what you were saying, if you wanted to do one of these, there's a way I want it done that I can't explain. I just know it. I won't be able to communicate it to you. And you might do whatever, like it might be fine, but it won't be what I want. And I don't know how to explain what I want, but I know how to do it. So that's the trade-off, right? Maybe that, that's the curse, where it's like all of that stuff doesn't scare me, and I want to freaking do it, and I will. But it means that I can't delegate it. I can't do it. I just don't know how to do it. No amount of I've tried it. It doesn't work. You can watch my video. I got a 30-minute video of me trying to do that, and it was hell. And it took longer, and it actually cost more and took longer as well. So, am I using
You are using the C++ character component, right?
I think. I think I'm building on top of that, but yeah. So that's the cool thing. It's not that I'm doing everything from scratch, by the way. I'm not Jonathan Blow making my own coding language. I'm on the shoulders of giants, but I'm doing it through my own indirect ways, in my indirect means. I found that I'm quite good at using the works of other people when I'm not interacting with the person, and I'm just interacting with the work. I find that I'm good at that. So that helps. But to it's a whole different thing to take an existing someone's code that's already been meticulously whatever. It's a whole different thing to take someone's asset from the asset store that they were already self-motivated to build, than to bring someone else on and to kind of impress your will upon them. I don't know, maybe some people find that easy, but I know I just don't. I struggle with it. I can't do it. But I can do all that other stuff. Most people can't do all that other stuff, which is probably why they sound so crazy. I don't personally know anyone that can do all that, where they can do writing characters or what have you. But I know that I can do it, and I've been doing it. It just, just takes a while. That's fine. It's how it has to be done. That's how I want to do it. That's what it's all about. Reisky says it's a worthwhile challenge that inspires. Not everyone will have the buy-in that Raymond has, or they won't be able to catch the full vision. Well, yeah, I mean, vision is a big part of it, and vision is hard to articulate. For some people. I'll add, for some people. I find that the George Lucas types, that they're really good at doing that, but I'm not George Lucas, obviously. So, Gilligan says, last question. Okay, last question before I get too annoying. No. Okay, can you guys stop self-deprecating yourselves, okay? It's not annoying. Why do you think I'm streaming, okay? Just chill, all right? Will the game have cutscenes? It will, asterisk, in an indirect, not the way you're thinking it will. The plan is, I'm going to do basically kind of like these YouTube thumbnails or like Gravity Rush or something. It's going to be just through comic strips, simple, just not these big over motion capture suits, whatever. None of that stuff. That actually would be too much for me, but I know that I could do stuff like this. I know that I can draw. I do it much faster when I'm not live, trust me. And with Gabby's model, I have actually done it a bit of the long way here, but because the particular thing that's challenging is that, you got to draw Gabby so much, but the part of the thing that makes it easier is because I've already spent all this time on the model. And the model, I don't know if I've shown you guys this. This is part of why this is such a good choice for me. The actual model is so like the drawing that I can get away with using it as... Can I open this? I'm just going to type in Google, Project Feline. So I don't know if you've noticed, but this drawing of Gabby is not a drawing. This is actually just her model. So that cuts that work in half a lot. Any shot I want to have with Gabby in it, I just pose the model, I touch it up, done.
If you ever think that you can't deliver on a level design, you have my number.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much, dude. Thanks for the support once again. But yeah, I think I understand it's a big undertaking, but I have faith. It's going to be hard, and I know it'll be hard, but I'll get through it. I appreciate the offer for support, though. I think the kind of help I prefer looking, if you are that curious of what kind of help I tend to prefer, it's usually what helps me the most is if I have a problem with something or whatever, I will either look at feedback and someone will tell me, oh, actually, this color is throwing me off, and then I'll figure out what to do to fix it. Or it's I'll read a guide that's already been written. I'll read a book or something. That's kind of how I am. So if you have any resources like that, that's the kind of stuff that I find the most helpful for me, because it's very again, because the weakness when you're a nerd like me is that you have the worst social skills. So I know that that's a problem. So I like to work with things kind of indirectly. I will read, I will study material, and that's how I am. So if you've got material, that's great. I'm always welcome to material. That's sort of what helps me the most. But thanks though. Kayat says comic strips just like Fatal Fury City. I have not heard of that. I'll look it up. Fatal Fury. Maybe not as detailed. I don't know. This looks quite detailed. Not this extreme. Probably simpler. Because is this actually in game, or is this just a promo image? Let me search comic or a cutscene. I don't know, is this like what is this the thing? Because this looks a bit more high fidelity than what I would do. This is sort of, this exceeds the equilibrium of what one guy could do. But basically, if you really want to picture it, imagine kind of like Gravity Rush 1, but with less movement. That's basically it. Because when you think about it, you got to be austere. And I like that. I like being austere. So imagine actually just better quality versions of this with text boxes. Imagine that. But, with cooler poses.
I've made a lot of money on a series, The Eternaut. Indie games are the thing I want to spend my time on. Especially if they are using Unreal Engine.
Cool. Well, if you've made a lot of money, you could probably just do that, I think. If you want to spend time on Unreal games, you could just, I don't know how much a lot is. I guess in the series, I don't know what TV people make, but if you're making like Netflix salary, you could probably just, start a project. You'd probably do pretty good with all that experience. Ryska says, look up the models than the actual in-game models. Okay. Well, I think from just what I've seen already, it looks too AAA. So don't picture that. Basically, well, even the stickers I have on the merch store, linked in description, by the way. Imagine that, but telling a story with those, and then with just like a manga, but it's just in the game or something. That's basically like, this is actually quite just, I know this rough line art and stuff. Imagine it touched up properly. That's basically it. And then you have little like text boxes with little dialogue in it. The cool thing about doing it that way is that there are limitations which are good. A lot of people don't like limitations because I want to do the best thing. And it's like, no, you don't. You want limitations. The cool thing that will be a thing when I get to that is that by telling the story, if you're doing it in this sort of comic thing, firstly, you don't have to spend money on voice acting, so you save a lot of time and money. Secondly, you have... Thanks, Fawn, once again for the... Dude, you're not gonna... Okay, if you've made all this Netflix money, you might want to keep it to yourself and work on your thing. Stop giving it to me! But I do appreciate it, though. I would never conflict my own interests like that. I appreciate that. But the... Yeah, maybe this guy really is loaded. But the... What was I saying? Yeah, so like the cool thing as well is that there are spatial constraints as well. Because if you want to do some cool fight scene, well, firstly, do you need one? And it's like, well, maybe not. And it's like, all right. But if you do want to do one, you can only draw the key poses. You won't have to then go through the whole rigmarole of animating each keyframe, which saves a lot of work. And then if you want to do dialogue, it's like, well, you've only got a certain amount of space on the screen. So you can't do some over melodramatic, wordy millennial writing. You can't do that in this format. And I've seen a lot of people do it where I had a friend that did the cinematic cutscene voice acting route. The dialogue was awful. Voice acting was awful. It sounded very amateur. And they, that's what would happen to me if I tried doing it, because I don't know how to direct. I don't know how to voice direct. So I'm not going to, and I'm going to do it like this. So imagine, it's like, imagine this is a frame of it, and let's say at some point in the story, Felix and Gabby find Unreal Engine, or whatever. They find the MacGuffin Unreal hidden in the laboratory, and they both look at it and go, oh my God. And imagine just, you add a little text box with some kind of explanation, if you even need that. It forces you to be austere, which is... That's the kind of thing that, that's the, what would you call it? That's kind of like the secret of like being able to do things yourself is treating everything like that, Finding the least resistance of like, how little work can I turn this into? And you break it down. So anyway, so that's kind of what that's the plan. That's the plan for it. Of course, and the thing as well that I like about it is that because you don't then have to worry about vocal delivery and all this, you can just focus on the actual story. And if you have to draw each frame of it or whatever, if you have to do like panels like this, it forces you to be more deliberate And it means, well, you're probably less likely to make a story that's too long or a story that's pointless or whatever. You're less likely, I think, to do that stuff if you have to do it like this. And I don't know, I've just noticed that the people I know that have tried doing the kind of the higher budget stuff, it's like you need to know how to work with the simpler things first to then do that. And I don't know, maybe one day I can do this big, fully animated whatever, but it's not that day now. And I reckon I'm pretty confident about doing something that's entertaining. I would like it to be great, but, you know, we'll try. But, you know, just doing what you need, nothing more. So if I just need little stills, that's it. That's all it should be, right? So I don't know if that makes sense, but to answer your question, Gilligan, that's what I'm thinking.
There is not better feeling that being the owner of your stuff.
That's right. Yeah. Thanks so much again for the 1,000 R's. There's so many R's today. Literally my entire bar here is filled with R's. Thanks so much, dude. You must really believe in my project, dude. Thanks so much. Would the viewer feel intrigued by an Unreal logo? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, but if you made it important, I don't know. Well, I wouldn't be able to use it anyway, copyright or whatever. But, you know, imagine like they find an artifact and it's like, oh my God, like that could be a still. But anyway, this is meant to be a thumbnail, and this was going to be. But yeah. How many levels do you plan? Okay, well, I don't know that yet. We'll see. But I know how many. I think I know how many is too much, but I need to work more, and we'll work that out. I don't think that the amount of levels. I found that is less important than how good the levels are. So I'm not really thinking too much about the quantity. I'm thinking about what the purpose of each level is, and then whatever the number of that is the amount they'll be. That's how I'm thinking about it. But yeah, anyway, I've gone a bit over time here, so I gotta eat my Snickers. So thanks so much, Snupbill, for the Snickers budget. The Snickers subsidy. That's what we'll call it. We got the Snickers subsidy. So I'm gonna get to that, and the video. I'm gonna be working on this thumbnail probably the rest of the day. The video will be out probably tonight. And I hope to see you there. And we'll have a lot to talk about next week, I think, once that's out. It's approach it with an open mind. It's not the sort of stuff I see on YouTube a lot or anywhere. I don't see anyone talk about what I want to put in this video. So approach it with an open mind, and I don't know, see what you reckon. It'd be curious to see what you guys reckon of it next week. But until then, I gotta consume my Snickers. So I will get to it, and I will see you guys then.